Okay. Let's go ahead and get this kicked off. Online Learning Kit. Free. Okay. Oh, it looks like this online learning kit is the little bot thing. First hour 5.2. That's what I'm going to be following. Okay, looks like that's one. If you'd like to follow instruction after downloading, you can find the project files in your vault under online learning kit. So do I have to refresh? Okay, I just had to refresh it. Create project? Do I create project? Oh, okay, let's see. Maybe it will tell us.
Hello, my name is Matthew Wadstein, and welcome to your first hour with Unreal Engine 5.2. We're going to take a high-level look at Unreal Engine today, introduce you to the basics of how it works, and create a small project to experiment with that we will use as the beginning of our journey. After you've installed the launcher and logged in, you're going to come to this page. If you don't come to this page, on the left-hand side, we have options for Store, Library, and Unreal Engine. Go ahead and click on Unreal Engine to load up the Unreal Engine section. Now, looking along the top, we have a few options. News is going to give us all the news that's current and up to date for Unreal Engine. Next to this, we have the sample section. The sample section is going to be a bunch of pre-made samples that help us explore the engine, as well as showcase new
Oh. Starting game, city sample, game animation samples, okay, this is cool. I'll explore this later. Oh, that's adorable. What a dang. Fur and feathers. Oh, I want to play with fur and feathers. Oh my god. Yes, please. Okay, this is gonna be fun, but not for right now. Okay.
content
Continue
as it
on.
comes out. Next to this is our marketplace. Our marketplace is where we can go in order to purchase or receive free items from
Oh, I probably could have done that from here with the online search. Betcha I could have just found it here. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool.
Epic, as well as other content creators. Next to this is Library, and this is where you'll do the majority of the managing for the engine versions and your projects, as well as downloaded content from the marketplace. Since we're just starting out, we need to go ahead and install Unreal Engine so we can start using it. Here we can see under engine versions, I already have two of them installed, 4.27 and 5.0. You can have as many engine versions installed as you would like that you have space for. They all exist side by side. For example, you might have projects using an older version and newer versions all at the same time. To add a new version, click the plus button next to engine versions, and you'll get the ability to install a new version based on whatever you'd like. And here, with this drop down on the top right, you'll go ahead.
I assume that it installed the latest version. 4.3, yeah, 5.4.3, 5.3.2. Yeah, these are all lower versions. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about you.
Have access to the latest version of Unreal Engine as well as all the older versions. Since this course is regarding 5.2, go ahead and choose 5.2 and install it. After we click the install button, we can choose
We're living dangerously. We're going to run a higher
the
version.
install location and change some options. I would recommend clicking the option button and going through these lists. Engine source is one thing you can uncheck. You probably won't need it when you're first
Oh, yeah, engine source. I guess I don't need that.
starting out. It'll save you some space. And if you scroll down, you can see target platforms. Since we're just starting out, I'm going to uncheck all the target platforms so I can reduce the amount of download size and space on my drive. I'll hit apply, I'll hit install, and it's going to go ahead and start downloading. We can click on downloads in the bottom left, and we can see it's installing Unreal Engine 5.2.0, the progress, as well as
Oh,
anything
dang,
else
I
that is
could have
queued up.
loaded that. I didn't
While
even
that's
see that down
installing,
there.
let's look at the other parts of this launcher. We have my projects below this. This is a listing of all the projects that I've started. We can see their names. We can see the engine version in the bottom right. We can even see other for custom versions that I've installed. Below this, we have our vault. These are all the items that we've added to
Whoa.
our account from the marketplace, and where you can create projects or add content to existing projects.
So much regret. So much regret. What would that have been? 8 years of content I could have had.
Going back to our marketplace, this is where we can find free and paid content. In the free section, let's click on UE Online Learning. This is the content related to Unreal Engine for the online learning content.
What was that again? Oh, just literally under free. Yeah, there it is. I saw a video about that. Planting cameras. I'm assuming that this is, yeah, 70 results. I'm gonna have fun with all sorts of stuff.
Online Learning. This is the content related to Unreal Engine for the online learning content. In here, we can go ahead and look for the online learning kit. If you can't find it, we can search for online learning kit, and you can find it that way. Go ahead and click on it, and you can see all the information available to you for this online learning kit. We can see things such as what type of download it is, a complete project or an asset pack, any supported engine versions, and any supported platforms. Go ahead and click on free in order to add this to your account. After it's been added to the account, it'll give you the ability to either create a new project or add it to an existing one. Since this is a complete project, go ahead and click Create Project. Go ahead and pick the folder where you want this to install and hit Create. Here we can see back in my library, in my download section, Unreal Engine is still installing, and I have my online learning kit queued up. Once the engine and the assets have been downloaded, you'll see them appear in your library. Coming up, we'll create a new blueprint project using the third-person template.
Okay. So we are create new project. I'll be able to open create a project until the relevant. Oh, it won't let you load a. Interesting. You can't even upgrade. Huh. Do projects. Okay, good. It creates its own subfolder there. Okay, now that's there. Now we do the launch.
Similar to the library tab, My Projects inside of our launcher. If I want to, I can click on any of these projects and open them up. I can also browse, and I can choose any other project that might already be on my drive that I haven't added to this project browser yet. On the left, we have our different templates sorted by the different categories. This gives you a leg up on creating your project by allowing you to have a project, for example, the third person template, which gives you some features built in and ready for you to get started. Go ahead and choose third person as the template we're going to be using.
When I say third person,
Make sure it's set to blueprint, and make sure starter content is checked. Go ahead and pick
blueprint, starter content. Okay.
the location where you want your project to be created and name it. In my case, I might want to call this Your First Hour. And you'll notice I come across an issue. Project names may not contain a space. There are some restricted characters for project names, and it will let you know if there is one. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply delete my spaces, and I'll go ahead and create the project. While the project is being created,
Why not? I'll use the same one. You'll full style. Have fun, enjoy. That's some maximum. I believe all my settings are the same.
and it will let you know if there is one. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply delete my spaces, and I'll go ahead and create the project. While the project is being created, it may need to compile shaders. This may take some time, so just go ahead and wait for it to finish. Once it's done, your editor will open up. And here we can see we have our editor opened up to our third-person map because we chose the third-person template. Let's go ahead and take a look at our editor and how we can navigate around it and work with the items inside of it. The primary window which we can see is our viewport. This is our view into our world.
And so a lot of this overview I somewhat already know from watching the introductory videos without actually being.
Let's look at navigating
Unreal.
around our viewport. Holding down the right mouse button will allow us to look around. Holding down the left mouse button will allow us to move in and out and look left and right.
Yeah, so.
Button will allow us to look around. Navigating around our viewport. Holding down the right mouse button will allow us to look around. Holding down the left mouse button will allow us to move in and out and look left and right. Holding down both buttons will
Okay,
allow
I
us to
see.
move up, down, left, and right based on our mouse movement. If
Oh,
we hold
wow,
down the
okay.
right mouse button and use the W, A, S, and D key, we can move our camera forwards, backwards.
So I know C++. Minimally. The last time I used C++ was probably about almost 20 years ago. Very familiar with C Sharp, and I am uh, I'm reasonably confident that uh, I'll be able to pick it up reasonably quick. Um, but we'll see. I am going to give blueprints a pretty solid try because I've heard a lot of good things about them. Because you don't need, yeah, I mean you don't need to. That's what I've seen a lot of. So I am really curious to see how blueprints function. I'm kind of excited to learn about them. But I absolutely am going to be digging into C++. But it is indeed a little bit better, more performant. That's what I've heard. That just the C++, raw C++ is going to be more performant than blueprints. But everything that I've read and seen, so like I said, I've probably watched a few hours worth of different videos over the past week. Mer, this is adorable. Oh, press another button. Oh, I totally missed that, Mer. I'm sorry. 75 streams, yes. Holy cow, Mer. um, what was I saying? Brain. But yeah, so I've watched a lot of videos, but literally like you're seeing the first time I've actually opened Unreal myself. And I actually missed a couple of those commands for navigation. They said something about holding both. So for one, I have so much muscle memory from Unity. It is going to be interesting muscle memory switch to navigate. But I imagine it's not going to be terribly difficult because uh, the navigation muscle memory will build over time. And I already have to deal with switching between like, okay, I need to navigate from Photoshop, I need to navigate in Blender, I need to navigate in Unity, um, and just having to switch between all of those, and it's like, crud, what one am I in right now? That muscle memory picking in. Um, but I definitely missed something that he
Allow us
just
to look
said here.
around. Holding down the left mouse button will allow us to move in and out and
Yeah,
look
I
left
got
and
that
right.
one.
Holding down both buttons will allow us to move up, down, left, and right
Yeah,
based
that's
on our
pretty
mouse
cool.
movement.
That one I don't
If
remember
we
having
hold
heard
down the
before.
right mouse button and use the W, A, S, and D key, we can move our camera forwards, backwards, left, and right.
Yeah.
Now, this is the basics of navigating around.
Okay, maybe I didn't miss anything. I just thought I did. So the double mouse, that one I hadn't seen any other video mention. That's really interesting and quite useful, actually. Okay. So I can't tell what the difference is between right click and moving. Oh, okay. This is just left and right, but then it goes forward and back. This is going to be up and okay. On this one, I can actually do that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Definitely going to take a little bit of getting used to, especially because, uh, yeah. Okay. And wasn't there what was the up and down? Yeah, okay, Q and E. Okay, moving on. Um, how long have how long have you been using Unreal Backend, and have you used other engines? Have you come from another engine before? Have you done multiple different things before? If you don't mind me asking. 8 years, nice. I am already regretting a lot. It's like I'm barely into it. No Unreal Master Race. um, so I only recently learned as I was going through all this that Epic has they give away assets every month, and about 8 years ago, I had created an Epic account to dabble with the Arc editor, like 8 years ago. Um, and I never intended on using Unreal. I was playing Arc at the time. And I was using Unity. And man, the amount of assets that I could have had over the past 8 years, I did not collect, and I have so much regret right now. Oh, I only just learned that I could have collected them. It's like, oh man. Right? Yeah, that's an appropriate phrase. Yes. Yeah. So much regret. But moving on is what it is. The assets for this month were pretty neat though. Where did that go? How do I get that back up? They seem useful for starting out. Like I just went, you can make every game that you want in every genre. Your library is filled to the brim without you spending a lot of money. Yeah, I imagine 8 years worth of assets. Oh, I can imagine. Um, oh man, I went back into Unreal and a Unity habit immediately took place. It's like, okay, that indirectly works the same. Curious. Need your content browser? That's this thing, right? See, I've watched some videos. You have a content drawer and then content browser, yeah. I'm watching that works too. Yeah. That's how it was shown to me in one of the videos. Like I said, I've watched several hours worth of preparatory videos. None of them were like, we're going to walk you through. Like the tutorial that I'm working on right now is intended to be you're following along. The videos that I watched before were all of the official Unreal educational videos that are informational. They're all introducing you to core concepts. Which, by the way, the ones that I started with, let me find that link. These begin play ones. Careful with following along tutorials on YouTube. I haven't done those yet. Stay away from Gorka Games. I haven't come across them yet, but curious as to your opinion of why. So far, I've really only focused on the ones that, as far as I can tell, they are official Epic Unreal tutorials. Like it says, like on here, it says by Epic Online Learning. Those are the ones that I've been following. This begin play one though, those were amazing. Those are really good informational tutorials. Teach you bad practice. The Unreal tutorials are alright. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna learn some bad practices and have to unlearn them, but that's the process of learning. Um, but yeah, these begin play ones were amazing, and then I even still have these uh, flowcharts up, which I don't need that one anymore. But these are pretty cool. I don't know how much I'm actually going to be referencing these flowcharts, but this begin play was really good. And then I did this this guided. So this was one that I did that wasn't official. They are staff though. But this guided tour one was pretty cool. It was fun to watch. And it was not a follow along. It was just them showing stuff. But yeah, where were we at? We were on here. This is where we were at.
Our viewport. Let's go ahead and look at moving items around our viewport.
Yes.
If we were to click on any of the items in our world, we'll get a little outline and we'll get a widget that.
What I'd love to figure out, I used to have There used to, I don't remember if it was a add-on that I had. Launch picture in picture. I'd love to have it so that there was a the YouTube video on top. Um, like that. Is this? Will this actually? Can I leave this up while I do my own thing? Aha! Perfect. This is exactly what I want. Yes, this is what I need. Okay, so now I can actually have the video up. There we go. Nice. Used on top replica for that. Wait, for which? Oh, the what I just pulled off. Okay, where were we?
Our world, we'll get a little outline, and we'll get a widget that allows us to transform the item we've selected. If we want to get a better view, we can press the F or focus key to focus on the item we've selected.
That's the same as
Or we
Unity.
can double click on any of the items inside of the top right outliner to also focus on them. If we want to move them, we would use the translate.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. I don't like that I can't just click the window. I have to click the little play bar.
Widget. We can click on any of the arrows. It
Yep.
indicates a direction. We can left click mouse, hold, and drag the item.
Same
in
as
that
Unity.
direction.
Nothing.
In the top right, we have the different controls.
Oh man. I am still, my muscle memory keeps on trying to do Unity navigation or navigation. Oh man, this is definitely going to take some getting used to. Yeah, because a big key in Unity is Alt, which is interesting that Alt actually has a very similar functionality. Similar, but not quite the same. Alt left has a very similar functionality in Unreal and Unity, but everything else does not. So yeah, this navigation is definitely going to take some getting used to. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So that's based on that. So I can't remember what the Whoa. Okay. Ooh, interesting. That actually, I wonder. Okay, that is an actual game engine preference that I would love to change. Curious if you happen to know. There's a big collection of perm-free stuff in the market. Yes, I am aware of that. I haven't looked at it because I don't want to get too overwhelmed. But I'm curious, you with your 8 years of experience, I just found something that I do not like the default of. And I believe that there are settings that you can change, but I don't know if you can change this. So, middle mouse allows you to pan. So what I can tell, it looks like it's panning if you use the middle mouse. If I middle mouse and press down, I would expect it to go the opposite. Like it's up and down is the wrong direction for me. Like if I middle mouse and press down, I'm expecting things to go down. But that's not how it's working. Like if I middle mouse and go up, things are going down. If I middle mouse and go down, things are going down. I would like to reverse that middle mouse button. Do you know how to do that? Let's see if I can find it really quick. If there's a thing online too. Here for tricking to C++, you don't know if you can do that. It's through settings. Okay. I will do a quick search, see if I can find it myself. But if not, it's not the end of the world. It really threw me off when I was trying to show. Yeah, I figured it would be under project settings. I'm going to see if I can find it. Just Engine 5. Probably invert middle mouse button. And invert. Okay. Edit. Editor preferences. I'm currently using OBS, yes. level editor viewports. Invert middle mouse button. Invert middle mouse button pan. Ha 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 ha! Problem solved. How did you manage it that you can see your project settings tab? Ah! Because I am sharing my entire desktop. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's super frustrating. And yep. Adsy! Surprise! Heyo, how you doing? Everyone who wants to ride in the dragon for feather skills on the right, fleshies on the left, or you can try and make a run for that exit. After all, the chase is half the fun. Good luck. Hi. Um. Oh, how are you doing? How's your stream? Hope you're doing well. Hope to see you tomorrow. Out. And to answer your question, Blackhand, I don't have an answer because I don't know how to do that. The only way that I'm getting it to work is because I am sharing my full screen. I'm sharing the desktop. That's why you can see it. Normally, I don't share my whole desktop. But yeah, playing a game where you run a pub. It has brought the English out of you. Good on you. Good on you. Like, and it annoys you so hard too. I know, it is so frustrating. Well, I hope that your pub went swimmingly at sea. I am attempting to learn Unreal. After, Jesus Christ, when did I start playing with Unity? 15 years? I'm going to guess somewhere around 15 years of being in Unity. I'm finally learning Unreal, the engine for the gods. You know, I don't want to admit it. I really don't. But yeah, I have regrets. Now, granted, I don't know if it's just because it's like, okay, the new versions of Unreal are pretty freaking awesome. They've got a lot of cool features, a lot of quality of life stuff. It's like, wait, you can do that, and what? It's like, as I was watching some of these videos, it's just like, oh my gosh, what have I been doing for the past 10 years? But still, I I'm eager to pursue this and see where it takes me. Um, but yeah, I hope you had a great stream. Edsy, thank you for the raid. I'm sorry my brain is all over the place right now. Okay, we just fixed our middle mouse button because that would have annoyed the heck out of me. Which again, the amount of customizability, like I've already seen some of the videos, like Unreal is just how to describe it. Um, the best way I could describe it is Unreal has taken a approach to config that I tend to use myself, where almost everything is a config. It's like if you want to change something, it's there. It might be buried. You might have to go find it somewhere. But the notion of like, should we have this or should we have that? Make it an option. All right, cool. It's an option now. We'll have this as the default. The user can go change it later if they want to. And it's just so many options. And I love that about that. That's great. That's my opinion the way it should be. Where were we? Oh, right. I forgot I have this popped out and I can actually play it at the same time.
Inside of our viewport.
Where
We
was
can
it?
click
Let's
on any
rewind
of
a
the
little bit.
arrows. It indicates a direction. We can left-click mouse hold and drag the item
Yep,
in that
used to
direction.
that. Used to
In the
that.
top right, we
That's all the
have the
same.
different controls inside of our viewport. This is where we have the ability to select items, translate them,
Oh.
which is allowing us to move them.
Yeah, this is going to take some getting used to. Some of these are actually similar. Actually, these might be. W-E-R. These? Okay, I think these either. I think these are actually the same as Unity. It's the hotkeys. Yeah, Q, R, Q, W, E, and R. Um, I think that's actually the same as Unity. Because the thing is, with a lot of Unity commands, if you ask me, how do I do this in Unity? I may not be able to tell you. But if you put me in Unity and say, do this, it's like, done, got it. Because it's all muscle memory. I don't remember how to do it, but I know how to. Yeah. So I think those are all the same. The only one that's big difference is Unity also has a Y, which if I remember correctly, is for mostly for UI stuff. It's a different type of translation translate
In the world,
option.
rotating the items and scaling the items. And it's got the same basic setup. We can grab any of
Oh,
them
that's
and
cool.
rotate as
Okay, hold
needed.
on. I gotta see that again. Was that an actual is that an actual degree marker? Oh, that okay. I like that. If you're good with C# blueprints, be a strong. Oh yeah, that's what I don't think blueprints are going to be an issue. The only thing that blueprints are going to be a nuisance for me is just I'm not used to visual scripting. I so to put in reference, if you have any idea, um, and I started programming in Emacs. Yes, I know. I'm not a Vi user. I'm an Emacs user. I'm sorry, it's how I was taught. Vi is still cool, but I started writing without an IDE. So like just writing code, that's what I'm used to. I use an IDE now, but um, so visual scripting is going to be very foreign to me. Ugh. Is that because you're a Vi user, or is it just because of not using an IDE? I love that there's the degree. Whoa. Okay, I don't love that though. Okay, that's interesting. Coding without an IDE, are you insane? uh, did it? Actually, I still have to do it occasionally. There is a lot of PHP code that I have to um, maintain now and then, and I don't have an IDE for it. I just have Emacs. That's it. So one of the things that I'm noticing. Okay, two of the things I'm noticing. Oh, that is. I don't like that, but it's. I'm not gonna try and change it. I'm not gonna try and force that one. Um, let's see. What is the equivalent? I don't know. So in so two things. Let's go with number one. Um, the rotation. In Unity, you could select the middle of something. Actually, can you? Does this have a middle? Okay, good. So it's similar to this, where you can select the middle of it and it'll do all of them. Which I imagine, yep, transform can do the same. Rotation doesn't have that. In Unity, it does. That is a really interesting thing. So I tried to grab the middle, and all it was doing was moving the screen around because, of course, it's expecting that I'm left clicking to uh, navigate. So it's rare that I use that. But if I remember right, yep, this little thing here. Um, okay, so do these views where it's an ortho view? Can you rotate on No, it's only going to grab, it was grabbing that, yeah, it was grabbing the x-axis. Well, y, but I mean, you know what I mean. Interesting. That's not something that I would use very often, but ah, okay, wait, no, this one, got it. Where was I?
Or we can click scale.
Oh, right, the other thing. The other thing I just noticed is big Unity difference. Um, a muscle memory thing. If you F on something, so it's like I will focus on this. F is the same as Unity. That's nice. Um, it when you right click, it would actually rotate around the object instead of just moving the camera where it is. I'm trying to find what the equivalent is to that. Okay, there we go. So this motion would be right click in Unity. But at least I know what it is in this now. So like I could focus on this, Alt and left click, and rotate around the object that I have selected and focused on. So that's a key thing to know. Because if I remember right, it's right click in Unity. But I also could just remember wrong. But either way, good to know. Moving on.
Scale, and we can scale on one of the axes or all of them if we'd like.
Yep.
There are other controls available inside of the viewport. We can see options such as snapping, and these are covered in more detail in the documentation. This is fine for working with items already in our world, but what if we want to add other items? And that's where our content browser comes in. By default, we have a content drawer in the bottom left. If we click on the content drawer, all of the items inside of our project are going to show up inside of the folders that they may be located in. For example, I can go into the starter content folder by double-clicking. I can go into props, and I can find a bunch of pre-made props that were included because we chose starter content. If I wanted to, I could click, left mouse hold, and drag, and drop those items into the world.
That's cool.
But you notice the content drawer disappeared after we used it. If we wanted to, we can click on the content drawer, choose dock and layout.
If you disable snapping, you can scale and rotate freeform, not within 10 degree subs. Yeah, I figured that. Where was that snap option? Enable disable snapping. Is that what that is? Oh, it's literally transform snap rotate. Oh, so it's not a global snap option. Oh, okay. So you could toggle them on and off individually. That's cool. Okay, here's one that's a Unity thing. So if I move the mouse about that fast, are there speed up and slow down keys? I don't know if he's going to cover that here in a second. I don't think they will.
Now we have a docked content browser.
So in Unity, if you use, so if I'm doing a rotation or a movement or a scale, if I hold down Shift, it will multiply my mouse movement. So you could move, rotate, and scale faster. And I want to say it's Alt goes slower. Do you know of an equivalent for that? So it's like, well, not seeing anything that does that though. Just trying various key combos. I like that it actually. I'm really digging this. How do I describe it? That yellow fill area. It's like you have rotated it this far. That's really cool. Does it change colors if I go? No, okay, it's always yellow. And just the general, like I like this UI. The way that this rotation UI is, I really like it. I think that is well implemented. It's got a lot of information and user feedback. I like it. Okay, I don't know how else to describe it.
We can browse through and bring other items into our world. For example, maybe I want to add a few bushes over here and have a nice area to work with. If you don't want an item, you can click on it. You can right click, go to Edit, Delete, or you'll notice it says Delete next to it, which is the hotkey. Anything that
Okay, why am I being blind? Oh, edit. There it is. Delete. Yeah. Boop. Boop. Yeah, hotkeys delete. No surprise
has
there.
a
That's the same
hotkey
as
will be
Unity.
listed to the right of the command. So we can go ahead and delete
I think Unity also had backspace. Yep, which Unreal does as well.
the extra items that we don't want in our world anymore. Or if we wanted to, I could go ahead and move these bushes into a new location.
Pan panels? Pan panels? Yarrick, hey, how you doing? Thanks for the lurk, Yarrick. Hope you're doing well. Or if you're heading to sleep, hope you get some good sleep.
And make my scene a little bit prettier. In the top right, I mentioned before we can double click on the items in our outliner to go ahead and focus on them. Our outliner shows all of the items or the actors that are inside of our world. We can see we have the bushes we added in. We have the default items that came with our third.
Red, green, and yellow panels, panels. Oh, for the rotation? I assume you're talking about these. Those are for rotation. And the colors represent the axis. Yeah. Red is X, green is Y, blue is Z. Which called pan panels. Oh! Like that's really what they're called? Okay, cool. I didn't know. Or I missed it if they said it. Luckily the colors in the axes are the same in Unreal and Unity. I'm pretty sure. I think. Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that. I'm trying to remember. Something had Y as up. I don't remember if that was Blender or Unity. I don't know. My brain's not remembering it at the moment.
Person map.
Like
We
I said,
also
a
have
lot
some
of it's
things
just
such as the different lighting that's available to us. The outliner is the outline that shows us all of the actors in our project. We can search for individual items or choose the filter option to find specific item types.
Oh yeah, I saw some video on the filters for these. The filters are much more powerful in Unity. Either that or I don't know how to use the Unity ones as well, but the Unity has some good filters, but the looked like the filters in this were a little bit stronger, which was nice. The folders is interesting though. I'm really gonna have to figure out folders because I the notion that folders are not in inherited. So like in Unity, you don't have folders. You can create an empty, and like the empty would have its standard like transform and everything. But like the notion of like, oh, if you delete a folder, then all of the stuff just goes like you don't actually delete anything underneath it, which is interesting. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to. But good for organization. But yeah, I saw a video that mentioned that, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. I'll just keep an eye out for that. Anyway, where were we?
Once we have an item selected, the details panel below this gives us the details or the properties for the item we have selected. In this case, I can choose my directional light, and we can see we have things such as the intensity, or how bright our light is, and even the light color. So in this case, I can have a purple light, and now my scene has changed. Any of the properties or the settings on our actors that are in our world will be available to us inside of our details panel. Along the top, we have our main toolbar. This is where we have quick access to things such as saving our current level, changing the different mode where my scene has changed. Any of the properties.
Pretty sure that I know what he just said, but I kind of got distracted.
Details panel below this gives us the details or the property, and we can see we have things such as the intensity or how bright our light is. And even the light color. So in this case, I can have a purple light, and now my scene has changed. Any of the properties or the settings on our actors that are in our world will be available to us inside of our details panel. Along the top, we have our...
That's another thing that I got to get used to is the terminology shift, and I've been mentally mapping what different things are from Unity to Unreal. That's definitely going to take some getting used to. Like like actors and pawns and characters. And Unity really only has a couple things that are like really distinctly engine related. And it's like you have your Unity objects, your components, behaviors, which are relatively easily translated into what Unreal does. But yeah, I just got distracted. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm easily distracted.
main toolbar. This is where we have quick access to things such as saving our current level,
Yep.
changing the different mode we're working in. By default, we're in selection mode to work in the items in our viewport. The ability to quickly create extra content, such as additional lights or other blueprints. And then our quick play tools. Let's go and look at those. Let's hit the play button.
Whee!
And you should spawn in with your character. It's going to spawn in with our default mannequin. Since we've chosen the third-person template, it's given us a character setup with a third-person camera and third-person controls. We can again move our mouse to look around, or use the WASD keys to move our character around the level. We can see our chair we set up in our bushes. We can run up. We can even jump, because jump was set up as part of our default third-person character. Once you're done playtesting, you can press the escape key to stop playtesting, and we're now back in our editor.
Interesting. Escape
now, this
key.
is the basics of setting up our project. Next, let's take a look at how we can add additional assets, such as...
Can you imagine there are already base classes for characters and NPCs? Yeah, that's definitely something that took me by surprise. That's not new to me, only because I'd already seen some videos that exampled that. So I already had that moment of like, whoa. What was it? Oh, I recently watched a video. I don't remember the link to it though. But it was basically 4 different devs. Was it 4? There was Go, Unreal, Unity. I thought there was 4 devs. There's something else. I don't remember. Oh, Roblox. I think what is it? It's Godot or no Godot. I always mispronounce that. And Roblox, I think. I think it was those 4, and they were all building like, hey, you've got X amount of time, build a first-person shooter, and it was hilarious when they all opened up this empty scene and started like, okay, well, I have to create a world or whatever, and the Unreal guy just like, bam, first-person player, all right, or third-person player, whatever. It's like done. Like they didn't have the shooter part or anything because they still had to write all that, but it was just like, well, that was fast. Unreal done in 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, they Unreal kind of beat them a lot. But they all do have their pros and cons. I will say from what I have heard recently, as an example, Unity still is going to beat out Unreal for 2-dimensional games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the information that I had recently read that Unreal has started to not support its 2-dimensional development. 2D and web development is better in other games by a lot. Yeah, I am concerned about the web dev one because I do mobile interesting. I haven't done much dev for mobile. I was going to. I released a stupid little puzzle game, jigsaw puzzle game on itch from Unity. But I predominantly did it as desktop and web. So I am interested in being able to support web. Asterisks, like I'm okay with losing the support for web to be able to progress in this. Mobile is an interesting hit, though. I thought that Unreal was pretty decent with mobile from what I'd heard, but Web is impossible with Unreal. Good to know. Or almost okay. Got it. It's good to know that going out the gate, though. I haven't done a whole lot of research into what it can or can't do. Poos into the okie dokie. Have fun, Mur. Thanks for hanging out. Um, but yeah, at the moment, I'm sticking like I'm predominantly going to focus on desktop. I'm okay with just focusing on desktop. Ideally, at least desktop and I think Mac is still a thing, but um, my primary focus is not any other platform but desktop. That's just to learn and get my own stuff out. Um, oh, we're done with this tutorial. All right. Up next, I may have spent more than an hour on this your first hour with Unreal.
After
That's
you've been
fine.
playing around
All right. What was that? Watch picture in picture.
with your project for a little bit, you might end up with some
Oh, where's the settings? How do I get the settings back? I think I have to close this in order to get those. Let's change the speed back to normal. Actually, let's go ahead and set it here. That's why it reset. Oh, it did not like that. I have a third-party thing that lets me change speed on videos, and it did not like that I
thing
changed it
that you
externally. That was funny. I when I watch videos, I actually normally watch videos in 1.5 to 2 times speed, sometimes even a little bit faster depending on what I'm watching. Um, unless I'm really trying to learn something, or in a case like this where I don't want to go too fast. As where Quixel Bridge only at a very minimal level. I saw references to it and I saw them. I saw a video access it. I believe it was the Unreal Engine 5 guided tour one. Um, where they exampled that. Maybe it might have been mentioned in a couple other videos, but yeah, that looks freaking awesome, and I can't wait to really get into that as well. More free assets textures already integrated in Unreal. Yeah, exactly. Very eager to try that one. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, um, yeah, there's a lot.
want to
It's
keep.
pretty
This
cool,
is my project, and it's messy.
which is really interesting. On the top left, landscape with QS Green plus. Yeah, Quixel Bridge. Yeah, it's fine. I'm a junkyard. Not particularly useful for me, but that's still pretty cool. I tend to prefer nature, medieval settings, anything that's um, uh, further tech is it's still fun. I like it. Um, I mean, heck, I do a lot of even like Stellaris. Uh, but in my own game development stuff, I will tend to lean towards wildlife and nature and medieval type settings and stuff like that. Those are going to be the assets that's like, oh yeah, I want those. But yeah, medieval banquet. Ooh, hello, aren't you pretty? Hmm. I like this for all the wrong reasons. Uh, 3D assets historical. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize it dropped me into. Oh, dude. Okay, this is pretty cool. Saloon. Yeah. Ooh, that bird. That's a cool bird. Yeah, yeah, all for free. Yeah. So Unity has a ton of free assets as well, but they're not integrated like this. This is pretty cool. I'm definitely see. This is why it's like I could easily get overwhelmed. It's like, oh, I could just lose myself in here. Do you know those Japanese cows that have their own geisha that message them all the time? I feel like those cows with Unreal. I don't know if I actually know what you're referring to. Geisha that messages them all the time. I don't think I know your reference. I'm afraid. Stormy, you missed a space. There you go. How you doing, Stormy? Hope you're well. And there's a duplication. I don't. Oh, Black Hat. Since you had mentioned off-sidedly, you had mentioned that you use OBS. If you know how to fix that duplication, oh my god, I've tried to fix that in so many ways. I even followed some online tutorial of like, here's how you fix the duplication thing. I I don't know. I I can't figure it out. But it happens to almost all of my alerts. It's super frustrating. Trying to find a fix for right? It's so frustrating. So I was super excited because there the I had restarted everything and the duplications went away for like 5 streams or something like that. See, there's the duplication. And I was just like, oh, thank God the duplications went away. And then literally like the next stream they came back. It's like, God dang it. Oh, and sometimes they play immediately like that. The timing, who knows? Because that was a double bark. They were right on top of each other. Silly Stormy. All right, we're going to. I'm totally getting distracted with this Quixel bridge, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm definitely going to explore that later. Also, like the historical tab. Thank you for pointing that out. Heck yeah. Um, this is exciting.
See, but
All right.
it's mine, and I love it. Up to this point, we really haven't saved anything.
Let me restart this.
After you've been playing around with your project for a little bit, you might end up with something that you want to keep. This is my project, and it's messy, but it's mine, and I love it. Up to this point, we really haven't saved anything, so we should look at that first. In the top
Whoa,
left,
whoa, whoa, whoa!
in our
What did
main...
I just do? Why is there 2 of these? Why is there 2 of these? What did I just? Whoa, whoa, wait! What did I do? There was 2 of them for a minute, and now there's not. What? Oh, that! What? Is there actually 2 of them here? No, there's only 1 there. Did I duplicate it? Am I... Oh. Alt duplicates? Yeah? Is that what that is? Alt duplicates, okay. Oh, interesting. It only duplicates the first movement, though. Let me press it again. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Alt duplicates, but only the first time you move something. The reason why I'm pressing Alt so frequently is because of Unity. Unity, a lot of the navigation relies on Alt. So I am pressing Alt, and then things happen. Saw a badge that looked like this very fluffy tail. Stormy. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a badger. Yeah. That I hate to break it to you, but you just also, if you actually got to see a raccoon, then yay, that's awesome. He smells.
toolbar, we have the ability to save our current level to disk. We can click that, and it's going to save our current level. In addition, we can go up to File and Save All. and they'll save all the items, maybe things we've brought in. For example, we're going to look at that during this process here, or anything we may have modified. We started with our starter content, but let's
Did not want to be approached. Nah, no
say
surprise.
we created this project and forgot our starter content. In the top left of our content browser is our add button. When we click on that, we can go to add feature or content pack, and this will give us the ability to add content to our project that was included with the engine. For example, if we forgot the starter content, under content, we can add that starter content to our project. Or
Oh,
we could
cool.
add some C++ or Blueprint templates. Let's say we wanted to add the first person, we could go ahead and click on first person and add, and this will add the first person content to our third person project that we started.
Okay, that's
Okay,
cool.
this is good. How do we add additional content from outside of the editor? On the launcher, we have access to the marketplace. Now, we already went here before when we created our project using the online learning kit. If you haven't done that, make sure you go ahead and do that now. This is where you can find free and paid content. For example, we go to free, Epic Games content. We can find something we might want to add to our project by going to that item. We could purchase that item, and then we could add it to our project or create a new project with it. Back inside of our library.
Seriously, let's see. Sponge, I want to. Oh, you saw a skunk. Oh, gotcha. Seriously, never saw. You seriously saw a skunk last night in the city? Yeah, okay. I've actually seen a raccoon, and I'm like pretty metro area. There's a cool pirate character for free. Okay, what do I look for? Let's see. Helps if I can spell correctly. I assume this is what you're referring to because it's the only one that's here. But they're an icky fleshy. I mean, they're a human. Raccoons live in your metro area. Ah, yeah, they're not common around us at all. We did recently. We have ground squirrels in our backyard now. I think they've taken up residence somewhere nearby. Silly Stormy.
One and only Stormy fatten one critters. Or should I saw a nocturnal European badger?
Oh, silly Stormy. All right. You know what? Just out of curiosity, let me see. Yeah, I know what you meant, Stormy. Realistic fantasy. Ooh, characters.
One and only Stormy fatten one critters. Or should I saw a nocturnal European badger?
How many is there? Where's the? Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. What did I just click on? I misclicked something. Where is the total number of results that it found? What am I missing? Seriously? Why am I not seeing that? Oh, it's down at the bottom. 60 results. I can only do 20 or 8 per page. You can't do more than that. Nah. Yeah, I know. I'm under the free tab. I was looking for the total number of results. It was just at the bottom of the list. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that looks neat. Ooh, that's really cool. That's interesting. Grux? Looks like a. That's cool. I am getting so distracted. Paragon. Oh, was that one of the ones I was looking at? Oh, Paragon, Grux, Paragon, Twin Blast. Oh, okay. Oh, these. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Paragons everywhere here. That's cool. Is that Paragon? Oh, that is Paragon. Can you get the character without the mech? I assume you can. Or you just want the little dude inside. You look neat. Anyway, so getting distracted. Okay. We will finish this. We will finish this first hour within the, 12 hours. You probably have to edit him out with Blender. Yeah, maybe. Well, they did show that the where did that window go? They showed the mech without him in it, so I would assume that you could get him without the mech. But yeah, I don't need a character at the moment though. So I mean, I do, but I don't. But it's, but yeah, I'm say between novice and intermediate, and the intermediate on Blender. They did. What was? Let me see if I can pull that really quick here too. It's been a little while. Oh man, muscle memory's failing me. It's been that long. Brain. Dot. Deleting verses is not that hard, right? Oh, come on. Catch up. There you go. Yeah, this is one of the things I did in Blender. I don't have the wings tucked in, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, he's just a little thing. Anyway, distractions. But he's got oh wow, that's messed up with his tail. Oh, I know why. There's a setting I need to turn off for that.
One and only Stormy Fatten one critters. It's a squirrel with wings and a beak.
Hey! It's an otter wolf griffin. I like to work with voxels, but they're so expensive. Oh, yes. That is so that is on my list of, and there's duplication. I still don't know how to fix.
One and only Stormy Fatten one critters. It's a squirrel with wings and a beak.
So I was working on a voxel engine in Unity a while ago, and I very specifically was looking to try and get what was it called? Dual contouring voxels, as opposed to like marching cubes and such like that. I liked the look of those better compared to some of the other options. So at some point, I will be revisiting voxels in Unreal to try and get them to work in Unreal. Because I very much love working with voxels, but yes, they are expensive and they're a challenge. But I am not tackling that to start. It's like, start small. Start small. Oof, good luck. Yeah, thanks. I need it. Yeah. But yeah, I may just settle and go. The plugin marketplace costs $400. Yeah. I may just settle and go with marching cubes, even though I don't like it. Just to move forward with progress and just make sure that I build it modularly enough that I can easily switch it out for a dual contouring later. Which also a lot of the videos that I watch about how Unreal is built and how it's structured, just the general structure and the mentality of how to approach development and building and components, the modular aspect is like totally right up my alley. It's like this is it is a very good habit to have in software development in general. And I feel like Unity doesn't really promote that as much as it seems Unreal does, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, that'll be a ways down the line. I have a lot to learn before I get to where I want to be. Um, I do have goals. I do have plans. I have plans, but um, one step at a time. Everyone starts from the beginning.
Let's go ahead and double click on the online learning kit to open it up. And you may get an error. It's asking me to choose the Unreal Engine version I want to open this project up in. If you have a project that was created in a different version than one you have installed, it's not going to be able to open it up in that engine because it's not installed. You can go ahead and select a different version of the engine. Keep in mind, it is not backwards compatible. If the project was created in 5.1 and you're trying to open it in a version of 4, it will not work. But if it was created in 5.1 and you're trying to open it in 5.2, you should be fine. So in this case,
Interesting. So that's what I was trying to do earlier. And it wasn't happy, but I probably could have been fine doing it. Now I know it's okay.
choose the appropriate version you want to open it up in. We want to choose 5.2, and it's going to go ahead and open up that project in that version. Once our project is opened up, you can take a look around and you see this basic little scene.
Okay, so it seems like we are no longer playing with this this anymore. We're going to be loading in the other one now. This. Here we go. Okay. Just double click it. Will it just load? Is it going to load another instance of Unreal? Probably. So now I have two of them. I can go ahead and close this other one. Okay. So you go away. I expected that would be the case. I don't need two of you there, Rizzo.
And I want to take this little scene and I want to use it inside of my project.
Oh.
But how do I do that?
I see what they're doing.
Well, we're going to use the migrate feature. For example, if I went into my...
Okay, that's annoying. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. Interesting. Editor preferences for the middle mouse pan was not saved. Interesting. I don't know if maybe I opened up a different version. We'll see.
EOL content folder, and I went into meshes, I might find this floor. I can right click on the floor, choose asset actions, and migrate. It'll now find all of the items that are required for this mesh that I chose, the materials, material instances, textures, the mesh itself, and allow me to export it. So I could choose OK. It's now going to ask me where do I want to move it to. In this case, it's my projects folder, your first hour, content folder.
Okay. How do they get to the floor? Browse to asset. So what did they say? I forgot what it was. Where did they go?
So I can instances require assets. I might find this floor. I can right click on the floor, choose asset actions, and migrate.
Migrate. That's what it was. Asset actions. Migrate.
It'll now find all of the items that are required for this mesh that I chose, the materials, material instances,
Why does mine just have... Why is mine different? So this is just UMap. Finish script engine realm static mesh. Meshes, SM floor base. Since the begins to change on the folder. New well meshes, yeah. Strange. What am I missing?
To require asset actions and migrate.
Is this a version difference? Wait, assets map playground. Wait, hold on. Asset map playground, but I'm trying to do the... Okay, I'm confused. What am I missing? Oh, map playground. I don't even know what map playground is. Is that the... Oh, that's the whole thing. Map playground is the Unity scene level, I believe. It's the level. Okay, so why? And yes, all the Keckers, Stormy. Map is a level, yeah. I think level is equivalent to Unity scene. But when I go to... So I'm right clicking on SM floor base as they're exampling, asset actions, migrate, counties all selected assets, dependencies to another project. But now it's trying to export the level. The map playground is the whole level, which is not what I want. Because there is dependencies, which is create a new sphere mesh. Well, purely in the sense of trying to follow along with the tutorial, I should be able to do this according to the tutorial. So either the tutorial is wrong or I'm doing something wrong. Content meshes, SM floor base materials. So create a new sphere mesh just out of curiosity because I get where you're going at. Well, I misclicked, but sure. So that would be from in here though, which, wait, that's not what I want though. Can you just, I actually don't know how to make a sphere mesh in the content browser. Other tools where you have selected your sphere. Merge actors. Under tools where you've selected your sphere. Merge actors tab. Oh, we definitely didn't go into this in the tutorial. Continue. Give it a name. I don't know what is the end result that you're trying to go after. I'm trying to figure out where I missed something in the tutorial or if the tutorial is just straight up wrong. It's like, why is this? I wonder, just out of curiosity. Could it be? No, it wouldn't be that silly, would it? No. Strange. Just wanted to show you can migrate an asset without dependencies. Okay, why do I have to merge? What is that gonna do? What is the single mesh? Simplification. Just creates a new mesh. Okay. Oh, is this okay? Hmm. It still has the whole playground selected. It's interesting. Save everything. Okay, did that. Hmm. I did the save all, I think. Also, the notion of like saving things in different places is definitely foreign to me. Click on save when you want to save when you want to migrate. I'm still trying to understand why. Oh, now. Okay, what changed? Why am I now getting this? Whereas before I wasn't. This is what is in the tutorial. Oh, is it literally because... Okay. Oh, interesting. So I had apparently done something that needed to be saved. Interesting. So, yeah, if I undo that, right-click, asset locations, migrate. Now I'm back to here, and just changing anything in the level, and then I try to right-click and migrate. Yeah, it's not... Interesting. Interesting. Oh! Oh, I'm not reading the context windows. This window just lets you save your changes before you migrate. Yep. Thanks. I'm gonna go curl up in a corner and bang my head against the wall because I'm a derp. This is saying, hey, you need to save content. I wasn't even looking at the title. I just was like, this isn't the same. I'm confused. What's going on? Oh my god. Uh, well, if that wasn't embarrassing. uh, yeah. So, hey, I can save. Hey, look, it's the right thing. Yay. Oh boy. Oh, I'm an idiot. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Can we just pretend that that never happened, right? We're just gonna pretend that never happened.
It'll now find all of the items that are required for this mesh that I chose, the materials, material instances, textures, the mesh itself,
Oh
and
my
allow me
god.
to export it. So I could choose OK. It's now going to ask me where do I want to move it to. In this case, it's my projects folder, your first hour, content folder. I'm pulling it out of the content folder in the original project, so I need to make sure it goes in the content folder in the new project. The folder, your first hour, content folder. I'm pulling it out of the content folder in the original project, so I need to make sure it goes in the content folder in the new project. And if I was to hit select folder, it'll now migrate it out. But instead, I actually want everything that's inside of here. So let's go into our maps folder. Here's our playground map. It's the one that we currently have loaded.
Okay, so I'm glad I didn't actually do it. uh, so let's go ahead and delete this. Let's go ahead and save. Yeah, all saved. What do they say? Maps folder.
And let's migrate out the entire map and everything inside of it. So we'll go ahead and migrate. You can see we have a lot more chosen this time. We'll hit OK. We'll go to our projects, first hour, content folder, and hit select. And it's going to save and migrate all those items out. Now, I didn't close my other project. It's still open.
I did. Okay, how do I reload that? Your first hour. I closed my other project. I assume they're just going to say, hey, it loads it in just fine, though.
So if I was to open up my other project on our screen, and if we look inside of here, we have an EOL content folder with all of our items, including the map. We can open up the map, and we can see we now have that map that was in another project inside of our new project, including all of the parts that we need. I'm going to go ahead and close down the other project, the online learning kit. Since we won't need it anymore, everything I wanted is now inside of my first hour project. Now, what if we wanted to bring in something that was our own? We've created it in a third-party program, say a model or some textures, and we now want it into our project. This is where importing comes in. In my content folder, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. I'm going to name this one import.
Content.
And I'm just going to show you how you would import your own assets. Inside of our import folder, we can right click and we can choose import. I have some raw assets I might want to bring in. So for example, I could bring in this WAV file and hit open, and it's going to bring it in. Inside of our import folder, we can right click and we can choose import. I have some.
Sure, why not? Why not? Why don't we just go? Oh, crud. I didn't think about that. Let's just see what it does when it does files with the same files. Sure, I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Raw assets I might want to bring in. So for example, I could bring in this WAV file and hit open, and it's going to bring it in, and now I have this sound file inside my project. You can also drag and drop from outside of the project. In this case, I have a skeletal mesh. I'll drag it and drop it, and it's going to ask me what I want to do. The WAV file didn't ask me what I wanted to do because it knew.
Oh, it's not happy. It is not happy. Export smoothing groups. Feathers. Interesting. Alright, well. This is all just for experimentation anyway. There's a burb. There's a burb. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. The feather texture is kind of there. It's not transparent, but that's not surprising. The rest of it, not so much.
Knew
It's alright.
automatically what to do.
I'm not trying to
But
do
skeletal
anything
meshes,
particular at the
stack
moment.
meshes, and a few other asset types have import options that we might want to change.
Yep.
In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and import it as is, and it'll import my skeletal mesh and create anything that's needed for it. I can also choose the add button at the top, and we have the same import option. In this case, I want to, for example, bring in the same import option needed for it. I can also choose the add button at the top, and we have the same import option.
Oh, okay.
In this case, I want to, for example, bring in multiple textures, so I can multi-select them and hit open, and it'll bring them in. That's how you're going to import in external assets into your project.
For the most part, that's pretty much the same as Unity. Even just the dragging them in sort of thing. It's just a matter of figuring out the settings you need.
In addition, we also have Quixel Bridge. We can right-click and choose Add Quixel Content.
Yes.
This will open up the Bridge plugin. We can look through here and find items we might want to include in our project. For example, here's some vines. If you need to, you'll have to sign in to your Epic Games account. After we've signed in, we can choose the quality that we want and download it. Or we can drag the item into our world and drop it to get a preview of what it would look like inside of our world. After you've added items to your choose the quality that we do, you'll have to sign in to your Epic project. For example, here's some vines. If you need to, you'll have to sign in to your Epic Games account. After we've signed in, we can choose the quality that we want.
just for kicks.
And download it, or we can
Oh, I'm not signed in. I'm gonna pop this off for just a second because it might flash stuff that I don't want to show. Oh, it didn't remember my credentials. God dang it. Hold on. I go. That's actually kind of annoying. Okay. Give me a second. I was hoping that it would recognize them because I'd already signed into the Epic login thing. Yeah, now I gotta do the phone off. Give me a second. Oh, okay. This is because I'm technically logging into Quixel. Okay. There we go. Whoa. Wait, what is this? This version of Bridge is currently available for the Unreal Unlimited plan. The Unreal Unlimited plan gives you instant access to Megascan's library for... What is that? Oh, is Unreal Unlimited? Is that something you gotta like subscribe for? Unlimited. What is that? Subscription plan. Wait. Subscription plan free of charge. What? What is Unreal Unlimited? Is that just because I clicked Nanite being silly? Limited mega skins for NX channel based products. Just sign with your channel. License free for channel. Twin motion only tree space. What is the... Here we go. What is the Unreal Unlimited plan? Mega skins completely... You don't want nanite anyways? Oh, I was gonna fool around with it. I think high quality, 8K, medium, 4K, low, 2K. If you have an Unreal Engine license, sign in your Epic character to go to Quixel pricing and get limited access to channel. You'll also have unlimited mega scanner license. Nanite is complete performance killer. I thought it was supposed to be like the next greatest awesome thing. I was just gonna fool around with it though. Limited access for use with Unreal Engine if you have a content license. I'm guessing I don't have a content. What the heck is a content license now? Is that just... Yeah, get unlimited access. Unreal Engine for free for use with Unreal Engine only. Limited seats, 8K resolution, unlimited access. If you have a content license, just sign in with your get unlimited. So not just by activating that your project setting, you reduce your frames by 50%. Holy cow! Noted. Alright, I'm gonna toggle this off again in case it asks me for login. Actually, wait, I might already... No, okay, Quixel got its own thing. Alright, let me toggle this off again for a second. Sign in with Epic Games. Use the Unreal Engine. Use with get unlimited magazine. Okay, Unreal Engine product. That's fine. Get started. Okay. I think I set that up. So that's what I just read. I think I just already done. Yeah, okay. That's what I just did. Got it. High quality. Nanite is on by default. Interesting. Okay. Via a really beef computer, it's alright, but no one with lower specs will be able to play your game. Noted. This is mine, by the way. So I don't know where it should be a pretty decent PC now-ish, but yeah. But still, the notion of like, others playing it as well. Granted, again, I'm not going for anything heavy at the moment. I definitely don't need nanite right now. These are pretty cool though. Like, just there's a lot of fun stuff here. I want this meat. I want one that's actually on the spit though. Like this, but oh well. Okay, so downloaded it. Can I just drag this in? Oh, I can. Look at that. Ah! Okay, that's cool. That is pretty high detail. Interesting. NASA PC? What do you mean by NASA PC? I don't understand. Okay, where were we? Oh, we're almost done with
Drag
this
the
video.
item into our world and drop it to get a preview of what it would look like inside of our world. After you've added items to your project, it'll show up in the mega.
So oh, yeah. Well, the idea was to be able to do game development on the PC and actually play some of the higher end games now. Because like I said, I've been using Unity for a while and I wanted something solid because I have Unity running, Photoshop running, Blender running, and then the actual game that you're working on, that running, all of this stuff for the next 10 years with that started. Good to know. Auto saving out of date packages. Oh, because I haven't done a save yet since I did the import with the Loopergriff and it had to save all the Loopergriff stuff, which is interesting. Brain. What was I doing? Brain?
And download it. Or we can drag the item into our world and drop it to get a preview of what it would look like inside of our world.
Oh yeah, where did it save it? So all I did was I just dragged this right into the world itself. Where did it save it? Browse to asset. Mega scans, 3D roast. Oh, okay. Interesting. It has these unique identified characters after it. Wonder what's up with that? Interesting. No, there you go.
After you've added items to your project, it'll show up in the Megascans folder under the item, and then you can go ahead and do whatever you'd like with it. And that is the basics of working with additional assets. We now know how to bring in extra content into our project. Now that we know how to bring extra content into our project, let's go and take a few minutes to learn how to create a new basic level from scratch and then add a few things to it.
Sounds like a plan. Where did our window go? All right, look at this. Building your first level.
Now, up until this point, we've learned how to navigate around our project and even added extra content, but it's not quite our own. Let's start on working by...
Did they ever start with blueprints in that series? Let's see. Yeah, 2 more down. So build your first level, working with visuals, and then blueprints. Which, realistically, is probably only like 20 minutes away. But I keep getting distracted. I'm far more distracted than I thought I would be. It's like, this is a lot of fun, though. Yeah. No, you're good. I was just about to say, like, the interaction has made this all the better. So I'm sorry that I'm taking so long, but I'm having fun.
Creating our own new level and adding content to it. Go up to File, New Level, and then choose the type you want. I'm going to go with Empty Level and Create. If you've made any changes or you have anything unsaved in your current map, it might ask you what you want to do. I'm going to not save any changes. And now we have a new level. It's blank, it's empty, there's nothing in it.
I'm scared it's
I'd
dark.
recommend saving as one of the first things you do. So let's go ahead and hit File, Save Current Level. It's going to ask us where we want to put it. I'm going to make a new folder called Maps in my Content folder. And I'm going to name this one Our Level. We now have our level, which you can see in the top left, ready to be populated with stuff. Let's go ahead and add some floors in first. How would we find our floors? We can search in the content browser by name, and we can find all the items that say floor. But right now I'm in the maps folder, and there's no maps named floor, so I got to go back up to my content folder. Now we can find all the items. But we have materials, we have textures, and we have stack meshes, and I only want the stack meshes. We can use the filter option to the left of the search and choose stack mesh, and now we only have the stack meshes with the name of floor. I'm going to go ahead and choose my modules.
So I'm able to guess where they're going on some of these because I watched some of those introductory videos. It's like, oh yeah, filters. Yep, that's probably where you're going. Yep, all right. It's kind of like jumping that split second ahead of where they were going. It's like, that means that I'm learning.
Floor.
Hey.
Now, if we wanted to, we with the name of floor. I'm going to go ahead and choose my modules floor. Now, if we wanted to, we could scale this item up. We have a scale on the right-hand side. For example, I could make this 5 by 5.
So this is interesting. It's something that I've noticed in a lot of the videos that I've watched too. Is it also was interesting that it stopped the second I went out of Unreal. The outline that's around it is very jittery, and I saw that in some of the other videos as well. And I was curious to see that myself when I actually got into the engine. It's just weird to see. I don't know. It's weird to me that it's jittery like that. I don't know if that's my PC, but I saw it in other videos, so I guess it's yeah, like that. There you go. I really see it. That's crazy. Interesting. I wonder what the reason is for that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted.
And now we have a very large, for example, I can make this 5 by 5. And now we have a very large floor.
All right. I'm assuming they did X and Y.
Or if I wanted to, I can click the reset button to the right, and I can drag in.
Reset. Okay. Oh. Cool. I like that reset button. That's cool.
Extra floors. But you notice these may not show up exactly where I want them. So we could duplicate a floor. If we hold down the Alt key on the keyboard and
I learned that
drag
accidentally.
on one of the arrow directions, we'll duplicate in that direction. Now, if I want to, I could also turn on snapping for a larger size. Let's say 100. And now when I duplicate, we can see it snaps a little bit better. It's not perfect. We might want our snapping to be 50, for example. And let's duplicate. And now we get something a little more appropriate. Go ahead and duplicate out a few more times. Give me a little bit bigger floor to work on. And now we have a basic floor that I'm going to use to put my character on and set up the rest of my level.
Okay, hold on. All right. Muscle memory. What? Oh, crud. What was? No. I forgot. Oh, I think I wrote it down in my notes though. Control Alt. That's what it was. Control Alt. It's like, I knew there was a way to select all these. Oh! Horror Zone Gaming. Hello from India. I'm new here. How are you? Don't sound so. Please welcome and oh! And then duplicate this. Wait, why did that not work? Aha! There we go. That was weird. I don't know why I didn't duplicate that first time. I gotta remember that. Control and Alt for that.
If we were to play test this, we're going to run into a few problems. First of all, everything disappears. I can't see your character. I don't know what's going on.
Probably because there's
Let's
no
go ahead and
lights.
stop this, and you'll now notice everything is gone.
Wait, what?
When we dragged in our items, it simply used the default settings for them. But once we hit play, it started applying our lighting settings. And what do you know? In our outliner, we have no lighting, so now we can't see anything.
Oh, so even in... Oh, the editor itself... Oh, interesting. So... I wonder if that... Yeah, okay, so just changing back from lit to unlit, it's... Because it applied this... That's interesting. Okay. Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
We can easily get around that for now by changing our different view mode in the top by clicking on lit
Yep.
and then choosing unlit. Now, if we want, we can double click on any of our modules and we can see them in the unlit mode. We go back to lit, you'll notice they disappear again. So that means we need a light. Let's go ahead and add a directional light. If we go up to our create button on the top toolbar, lights, directional light, we can...
That's mildly annoying. So, certainly no deal killer or anything, but a difference between Unity and Unreal here is in the outliner, in Unity would be hierarchy, you can right click and you can add this same add tools here would be available from a right click tooltip here. That's a little different. Anyway, so
drag one in and drop it in.
Oh yeah, directional light. That's what I needed. Lights. Oh, directional light. One of the biggest benefits to being able to add things directly in the outliner like that is if in a hierarchical situation where it's like, I want to add this underneath this other object, under this folder, whatever it is, purely from an organizational standpoint, it saves the extra step because now in Unreal, I have to create the object. And now if I had organization here, now I have to go and move this object to where I want it to be in the organizational hierarchy. As opposed to literally just having the ability to add something right here. Unless, can you, no. Yeah, it's just so great. So we're just hoping that maybe if you had a folder, it would allow you to do it too. But yeah, so that is unfortunately a major plus up on Unity, but it's purely from a saves you a step sense. But it's what it is.
Anywhere in the world. We can now go back to lit mode. We have our platforms visible now that we have a light. Next thing we want to do is play test again now that we can see. We'll hit play, and we see our character flying. They're actually falling because we have nowhere for our character to start. We need a player start, which is a special blueprint. I'm going to go ahead and double click to snap back.
What character?
And we can see them in the unlit mode. We go back to lit, you'll notice they disappear again. So that means we need a light. Let's go direction. We have our P. We'll have nowhere for our character. And we see our character flying. It is playtest again now that we can see. We'll hit play.
Curious. Oh, Where did you come from? Oh, so it literally pulls in a third-person character even though I didn't load a third-person level? Huh. Interesting. Wonder where that's set. Like if I... Huh.
And we
Interesting.
see our character flying. They're actually falling because we have nowhere for our character to start. We need a player start, which is a special blueprint. I'm going to go ahead and double click to snap back up to the top. Go back up to create, and we can look for player start. If you don't know where it is, after you click on create without moving your mouse anymore, start typing. And this will give you the search. It'll search through everything in our create menu. Drag the player start into the world and drop it. You might notice it says bad size. That means it's colliding or it's causing a problem with the item below it. We can drag it up. It will no longer say bad size. Or if we want, we can push the end key on the keyboard and it'll snap it down to the ground. Now if we hit below it, bad size.
Black hand, yeah, doesn't matter what level you load. You could also add a top-down character to a third-person project and use them. Huh. Interesting.
Drag the player start into the world and drop it. You might notice it says bad size. That means it's colliding or it's causing a problem with the item below it. We can drag it up. It will no longer say bad size. Or if we want, we can push the end key on the keyboard and it'll snap it down to the ground. Now if we hit play, end key on the keyboard and it'll snap it down to the ground.
Interesting. Huh. That's cool. Very interesting. So I wonder if you happen to know this one, Blackhand. In Unity, there is a certain type of way you can move an object. So you can grab the center, and so you're moving it in any direction. But when you do, oh, my muscle memory is failing me. I want to say I think you just hold down Alt, and effectively what it does is the same as if you moved it and then pushed end here in Unreal. So like as I was moving it around, it would effectively find the closest ground mapped location, whatever it doesn't necessarily have to be even ground, just the closest collision, the closest collider in the z-axis, and put it there as if like what end is doing. But it literally does it live as you're moving it around. So like if I was to drag this along here, it would actually move it flat along the platform, because that's like it would be like as if I had moved it, press end, moved it, pressed end. Why is end not working now? Oh, you have to be up higher? Oh, you have to be above it. And does home go up? No. Interesting. Don't know if that's possible live. Yeah, okay. A little feature that Unity has that I was trying. These are things you've never even thought about yet. It's a cool little feature to be like if I wanted to just move this node over here, all I would have to do is just move it with that key command, which I think was Alt, and it would just be where I wanted it to be, and I would know that it was constantly flat along this surface. Or if there happened to be a cube here, it would jump on top of the cube, stuff like that. Very useful. It's a little time saver thing that's good. But anyway, little things. It's like it's you can active surface snap. Ooh, what is that? That might be very similar to it. Active surface. Wait. Control how objects snap to surfaces? Surface snapping. Okay. Rotate surface offset. Don't ask you how. I may have just found it. Oh, okay. I was like, why is it dropping down? It's dropping down because these are not perfectly aligned. I bet there is a very minimal gap in between. No, there's not, but maybe on the what was that? Wasn't there was a way to show colliders. Show collision. No. So maybe I was thinking maybe the collider is slightly different than the actual full sizer. I don't know. I don't know why it's. Where'd the player start go? Oh, crud! Oh, I didn't even notice I was doing that. In my exampling of using Alt and moving, I forgot that Alt in Unreal creates new instances. So all of these duplicate player starts. That's funny. But yeah, that seems pretty close to what I was thinking. It's just in oh yeah. See, look, now as I'm trying to move it around on this surface with that toggled off, like you said, to try to disable snap-on grid. Let me toggle it back on. And all of a sudden it's whoop. Man, you really got to hit exact dead center on this. It is not forgiving. Okay, interesting. It's not quite as easy because it's a 2-click thing as opposed to just pressing a key, but still interesting. Moving on.
Now if we hit play, our character starts on the platform. If it doesn't start on the platform, the 3 dots next to our play mode is the ability to change where your character spawns at. The current camera location or the default player start. If we change the spawns
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The 3 dots next to our character starts on the platform. If it doesn't start on the platform, the 3 dots next to our play mode is the ability to change where your character spawns at. The current camera location or the default player start. If we change this back to the current camera location and we move out into the middle of nowhere, you'll notice our character now starts here. That's useful if you need to quickly playtest something from a specific spot. I've gone ahead and changed this back to the default player start, and now our character should spawn in that player start. Because we started with the third-person template, we automatically have our project set up for using the third-person template. That means our game mode is designed to use our third-person character with certain settings designed for it. If we go up to Edit, Project Settings, we can open up the project settings. On the left-hand side, we have maps and modes. Here we can see the default game mode is the Blueprint third-person game mode. And if we click the drop-down next, we can see the default open up the project settings. On the left-hand side, we have maps.
Oh, I was looking for a higher.
And modes. Here we can see the default game mode is the Blueprint third-person game mode. And if we click the drop-down next to selected game mode, we can see the different properties for it. We can see we have our default pawn, or what spawns in using properties for third-person game mode. And if we click the drop-down next to selected game mode, we can see the different properties for it. We can see we have our default pawn, or what spawns in using our player start as a third-person character. And we have some other default settings here. What we mainly care about is our default pawn class. If you were to create your own character, or your own pawn, or you want something special to control, this is where you'll change your default character that spawns in, and this is where you'll replace it in order to have your custom character spawned in.
I remember seeing that in a tutorial, so it's good they're going over it again to reiterate it in my brain. But yeah.
This is also where you can change the game mode. Say, for example, we imported in the first-person template, and now we want to use the first-person character and all of its settings. We could easily change the default game mode to the first-person game mode, and all those settings will work for us.
And on top of that, if I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember, these project settings, these all cascade to world and level. So theoretically, you could have a level with default game mode as third person, or you could have your project as third person. You could have a specific level that is first person, and you could just override the game mode. If I understand how the settings cascade like that.
Now, this is on a project level. All of our maps will use that game mode. If we wanted to override it
Literally, he's about to go into that right now.
on the level or this individual map, we wanted each map to maybe have a different game mode, maybe a different type of default character or some other settings, we can override that in the world settings. Going up to Window, World Settings, we now have the World Settings tab. And this is where you can override the game mode on a level basis. Maybe I have one specific for first person or third person, like I mentioned before. Now our world still is a little bit bland.
There it is, right there.
With this blank black area.
Yes, we don't need to. You can handle all game modes in one master gem. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's add a few more lights to get it set up. Now we can go up to the create, and we can look at the lights, and we can look at the different lights we have available to us. We also have different visual effects that will give us the sky look. Or we can go up to Window, Environment Light Mixer. Environment Light Mixer is a handy panel that allows us to quickly add lighting to our scene using the default settings for the editor. You can see in here it shows directional light because we added our directional light. If we were to go and delete our directional light, you're now going to see it doesn't have that anymore. Now that we have no lighting, we could easily and quickly recreate a basic lighting setup by adding our skylight, atmospheric light, sky atmosphere, volumetric clouds, and height fog.
Dang. Oh. Did I I think he only said, how many of these did he do? Did he do all of them?
This panel also will allow us to easily change all those lightings.
How long would that take in Unity? Well, I don't know about atmospheric and volumetric stuff. I haven't really played with a whole lot of that in Unity. Skyboxes are basically default though. Like when you start a new scene, you have a skybox already, so start a new scene. But atmospheric and volumetric stuff, I don't even know. I don't even know if Unity has that built in. I think you have to get plugins for that. I was playing with some volumetric with a volumetric asset that I'd purchased, which is really fun and cool. But yeah, as far as I know, I don't know what Unity has built in for volumetrics, and I don't know anything about the atmosphere. Yeah, but it might have something that I just don't know about. I mean, there's a ton in Unity that I still don't know. So, yeah. Okay.
In one convenient panel, or we could select them inside of our outliner here and change the details.
Oh, I
now we have
back further.
We're going to see it doesn't have that anymore. Now that we have no lighting, we could easily and quickly recreate a basic lighting setup by adding our skylight, atmospheric light, sky atmosphere, volumetric clouds, and height fog.
Okay, they did add all of them.
This panel also will allow us to easily change all those lightings in one convenient panel.
Yeah, so all the lights in one panel, I vaguely remember there was something in Unity that did that, but it was not. This definitely feels more robust than that. So one of the biggest things, one of the biggest takeaways, I suppose, that I'm starting to really realize, and really realize just how much of an impact it has on the IDE itself. It's the game engine. Is Unreal is a game engine built by game developers. Like it's a game engine for game development built by game developers to develop games. Unity is a game engine built by software developers to build games. That coupled with the uh, should we say management hierarchy sort of thing. Like Unity is more corporate driven, whereas Unreal is more game driven. Um, I mean, there's still corporate elements in both of them, sure, but just I'm already starting to see so much in the sense of like, wow, this makes a lot more sense from a game development standpoint of like the some of the profiling tools that I saw in the introductory videos just blew me away. Um, and just uh, how certain things are set up, and I don't know. It's hard to describe just in the sense of um, it feels much more. Uh, it's like you could tell that like a different type of developer built this. It's a very different feel. At the same time, I can also see why a lot of people find it daunting. Um, I could see. A prime example. I don't know if you know this a reference. By gamers for gamers, right? Um, so I've also been using Blender for several years, um, and if you were ever to have used Blender prior to, I believe it was 4, um, and then if you ever ask someone like, uh, oh, learning Blender is it's complicated. There's a lot to it. It's not very intuitive, and it's very complex because there's so much to it. And then later, like with the Blender 5 and the versions they have now, um, have really cleaned that up a lot. Um, but the sense that there is so much here is very overwhelming. Because one of the biggest things that I would see in the battle between Unreal and Unity prior to the recent events, putting those aside though, was that Unity is easier to learn. And from what I've seen, I would definitely argue Unity is easier to learn. I would no longer say that it's faster in Unity to get something up and running because Unreal literally just has hey look, you have a 3D walk around environment with the character, like bam, you're done. All right, that's pretty cool. But um, Unreal is a little scarier, basically. But yeah, Unreal has so many tools. Yeah. Also, I had no idea that Unreal actually had their full source code. I did not know that, and that's something that I wish I had learned earlier because that would have swayed me much earlier. I didn't realize that when you download Unreal, it's like here's the source code, all of it. Just here you go, enjoy. It's like that's pretty cool. Like just from a software development standpoint, like that's impressive. It took me by surprise. It was information I did not know. Yeah. Needless to say, like in the past 2 weeks have been very eye-opening. And it's a reason why so many games switch to Unreal. The next Witcher, for example. Um, I haven't played a whole lot of Witcher series, and I don't know what engine they used prior. Um, I played a bit of Witcher 3, and I got very distracted with the card game because I really liked the card game that was in the game, and I would continue. I would just keep playing the card game, and then I wouldn't play the. They had their own before. Got it. Yeah. Um. But anyway. Yeah. The combat kind of throws me off. And Gwent, was that the card game? Yeah. Only 5% royalties this week. So that actually is the reason why I did not support Unreal from the very beginning. Um, because Unity didn't have that asterisk sort of question mark, and I'm kind of realizing like the best phrase I could say is like I drank Kool-Aid or whatever. Um, is to me at the time the notion of how to put it. Um, and yeah, you're right, that the Gwent, yeah, that was the game that I like. Um, but you keep your first million, yeah. um, so not counting recent events, so purely talking before Unity changed their licensing stuff. I'm not going to get into that. Um, but prior to that, Unity was basically you pay for the engine. If you have made, I believe it was also a million. Might have been 500,000. I've forgotten now. But regardless, Unity had a similar thing where you can use the engine for free up until X number, which I can't remember if it was 500,000 or a million. I think it might have been 500,000. Um, and then you have to pay for license, and then you just like you pay for a license for Unity, or however many seats that you would need, and it was kind of a one-time thing, and that made a lot more sense just from a personal opinion point of view. And this is again, this was my thought at the time, and then I've kind of changed over the years, but the notion of how Unreal did their pricing did not sit well with me, because in comparison, where Unity is like you can use our engine for free, Unreal you can use our engine for free. Unity, once you hit the X mark, you pay us once, and that's what we want. Unreal is like you're going to keep paying us and paying us. You're going to pay us forever. Like even if you're not doing any updates, you're not making changes, you are no longer using our engine. You are just selling the game that you had. We want to cut. We want to keep taking a cut. We're going to keep taking it. We're going to take it forever. That bothered me. I didn't like it. It was like, why are you continuing to be paid for no work done? Like this, if I'm not using the engine anymore, I mean, like, sir, you're using it to distribute, but I'm not actively editing anything. I'm not pushing any updates, presuming that you just are done with your game. Like if you fully released it and you're done, you're not changing anything. That sort of mentality, and it didn't sit well with me. But over time, I've also come to sort of realization just of how it works in different ways, and I don't quite have that same mentality anymore. Now don't get me wrong, I definitely am in this mindset of like developers should be paid for their work. Like I'm a software developer, I like to get paid too. It was just the notion of being paid for something that you aren't doing. 1 second, let me check this. Try to do that off screen. Okay, I don't care about you. That's a feature that I wish I could find on my phone. Anyway, I don't remember where I was rambling, but yeah, you can oversee that after you got gifted assets worth of. There is that too. Man, oh, rub it in, rub it in. It's like so much regret. 8 years of assets that I could have had and I didn't even realize it. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But yeah, a lot of free assets, and the notion of just continuing to support what I'm actually now seeing is it's an engine that's very respectable, and I didn't quite have the mentality that I had. before. So, granted, they've also done a lot, and I don't know how my opinion would have changed based on the previous versions at that time. But anyway, it's history, past. It's it is what it is now, and effectively 2 weeks ago, I got it in my head of I'm gonna push into Unreal now. This is the direction that I would like to pursue, and it's when I started watching the introductory videos, and um, then eventually got to. It's like I knew I wanted to watch a lot of the introductory videos, especially anything I could find for like um, Unity to Unreal transition sort of thing, which I didn't really find, but that beginner thing that I linked earlier was awesome. That was great resource to watch. Um, and and then today it's like, all right, it's time to actually dive into the engine itself, and it just took me a little bit to get to here, but yeah, I don't know. I'm totally rambling. My brain is fogging. I'm uh, going to be switching gears probably in the next 45 minutes or so, and
Or we could
uh, yeah, because focus. My brain is starting to shut down. um,
select them inside.
but I will still be streaming. I might end stream for a bit while I figure out dinner. I might just leave it running, but in about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, maybe somewhere in that range, I'm gonna switch over to actually gaming. um, Currently, I've been running a survival game, but we'll actually be playing a game. So I'm trying to learn the engine, but anyway, where were we on this tutorial? I want to get to
Basic
the
lighting
blueprints
setup
thing.
by
I might actually push far enough so that I want to actually get through this full tutorial. That's what I want to do. I want to do that before I end tonight. But my brain.
adding our skylight, atmospheric light,
Okay.
sky atmosphere,
Yep, we did
volumetric
that.
clouds, and height fog. This panel also will allow us to easily change all those lightings in one convenient panel, or we could select them inside of our outliner here and change the details.
Which I wonder. Let's see. Directional light, height fog, atmosphere, skylight. Where's the fifth? Volumetric. Can we do this? I have multiple things selected. I would like to put these in a folder. Copy selected actors to file path. I don't think that's quite right. Replace actor, snapshot. So basically, I would like a one-step one-step option to be like, okay, create a folder. Oh, hello. Okay, I may have accidentally just found it. Exponential sky atmosphere skylight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Click. Done. That's what I was looking for, and I accidentally just found it because I accidentally had something selected, and that something that I had selected went in the folder. Okay. Cool. Lights. Neat.
Now we have our basic setup where if we hit play, our character's on our platform, they have a nice sky and atmosphere setup, and they can run around.
Oh yeah, I want to actually see this. Close that. What is this? Oh, project settings. Jesus Christ, that's fast. Neat. I was trying to see if the... Oh yeah, there is movement. Yeah, that's cool. There's actually is movement in the clouds. I assume that's because of the volumetric. That's cool. That looks really neat. That's cool. Okay, anyway. Oh, this is neat.
And this is the basics of working with the editor. We've created our own basic level. We've brought in a floor prop. We have a character in here that we can control. And if we needed to, we could change out any of these items, or we could go back into our content browser. Maybe we'll look for our bush again. We could add some bushes into our project, maybe some rocks. We could duplicate out our floors by holding down the Alt key again and duplicating. You can even select multiple items, as you can see here, and duplicate in groups. And we end up with a nice little scene that we are starting our experience with. Now, this was just a brief introduction to setting up a basic level. With the tools available in the editor and what we've just learned, go ahead and take some time to set up a new basic scene and see what you can come up with.
No, I'm moving on to the next one. Also, as interesting, hold on, does it work in here?
For the rest of the course, we're going to be using the sample map that's included in our project, the one that we migrated over from our online learning kit.
Okay, it just simply doesn't work in an embedded window. That's why I learned it. So on top of learning Unreal, I learned a new feature with YouTube. If you didn't, I don't remember if you were here. Can I? Does this load in YouTube? Can I just? Is this a YouTube video? Copy video on new tab. No. Copy video link. Ah, it's not YouTube. That's why. Well, anyway, I don't need to example it. If you hold down the left mouse button in a YouTube video at 2 times the speed. Didn't know that till today. Accidentally learned that. Cool little feature.
For the rest of the course, we're going to be using the sample map that's included in our project, the one that we migrated over from our online learning kit. Let's go ahead and find that now. Inside of our EOL content folder, under Maps, we have the map play.
Okay. Close that. Reset filters.
Ground. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and here's our playground map. If we want, we can hit play to play test, and our little orange character drops out. Our character can run around, it has custom controls, it can jump, and when we're done, we can end the playtest. Let's go ahead and look at lighting inside of this level and play with a few different things. First of all, we are using Lumen. It is the global illumination system in Unreal Engine 5 that allows the light and the color of objects to mingle together. So if we're shining a light on a blue item, when that light bounces off the blue item, it's going to be a more blue looking light, and it's going to show up on the surfaces it bounces onto. It's a great way to get a more realistic look. If we go to Edit, Project Settings, and we scroll down to the rendering section, then we scroll down a little more, we can find Lumen is the dynamic global illumination method. Now, if you find you're having issues with performance, you can go ahead and change it. There's none, screen space, find Project Settings, and we scroll down to the rendering section.
Oh. There you are.
Then we scroll down a little more. We can find Lumen is the dynamic global illumination method. Now, if you find you're having issues with performance, you can go ahead and change it. There's none, screen space, and standalone ray tracing. I'd recommend screen space if you want global illumination, but Lumen is too much, or none if you need the most performance. We're going to keep Lumen on.
Sounds
now, when
like a
working
plan.
with lights, let's choose our directional light, and our main settings are going to be our intensity and our light color. Intensity, when it goes up, makes things brighter, and when we drag it down, it makes things darker. Now you'll notice we can't really go too bright, and when we go darker, it tends to lighten up. This is auto exposure or eye adaptation. We can disable this temporarily by going up to lit, uncheck game settings, and now it's going to lock it to a default value. You can see we can go very bright, check game settings, and now it's going to lock it to a default value.
Oh. Game settings. Huh. Interesting.
You can see we can go very bright or very dark. I'm going to go and reset this to our default.
Wait. I'm being a derp. Rendering audio, tick, game mode. Oh, I'm in world settings. I was like, this is not the right thing. I'm being a derp. Okay.
Our skylight, if we were to go ahead and click on this and adjust its intensity, is going to whiten out everything or darken everything. Let's reset that as well. You can also disable your items by clicking the eyeball in the outliner.
Yep.
And you can now see we have a black scene because our directional light, which is like our sun and the majority of our light, was disabled, and our skylight, which helps brighten up our shadows, was disabled.
Oh, that's interesting.
So let's actually look at a little bit more of those different types of lights. Like I mentioned, the directional light is more like our sun. It blankets light over everything in one direction. We can adjust the intensity to make it brighter or darker, and we can adjust the light color to give us a nice overall color tinting everything in our scene.
That's just
Say,
like
for example,
Unity.
we went with like a green. We can adjust the angle. If we double click on our directional light, we can see our directional light is here. We can change to our rotation and rotate, and our light is going to move. Because we have all of our lights set up together, we have a sun disk. We can see when I rotate it lower, our lights will change to a different color, and our sun is in a different location.
Wait,
let's reset my
was
light
that?
color to white, and our light is going to move. Because we have all of our lights set up together, we have a sun disk. We can see when I rotate it lower, our lights will change to a different color, and our sun is in a different location. Let's reset my.
Oh, okay. So what's controlling that? Is that the sky sphere, maybe? What's coupling the sun to that sky atmosphere? So does it tie directly to the directional light? Try to rotate a directional light. You think that's inside the directional? You think it's inside the directional light? Yeah, it's linked together. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the link is. Like which one links to the other. I would imagine that the sky atmosphere links to the directional light. Search bar on the top. That's true, but I don't know what I would search for is the problem. Art direction, sky luminance, sun. I don't know what I would search for though is the problem. Like it's great that you can search, but you have to know what to search for. Yeah, I just tried sun. That wasn't anything. Sky atmosphere components. Sky atmosphere. This default scenery. Interesting. I don't know. atmospheric the directional light can interact with the atmospheric cloud and generate a visual disk, all of which compose the visual sky. Huh. So it seems like it's on the directional light, which is interesting. I would not have thought that. Anyway, we can learn more about that later.
Light color to white, we can get a little bit better effect. You can see as it goes below the horizon, we get a little bit of an orange effect, mimicking more of a natural sunlight effect. We can also hold down the Control and L key. We'll get a widget, and when we move our mouse, it gives us a little bit more interactive control over where our directional light will be. The skylight, when we roll over where widget, and when we move, we can also hold down the Control and L key. We'll get a widget,
Control
and when we move
L? Control and L? Okay, I'll go back to directional light. Control and L. Okay, I don't. What am I doing? Oh, you have to keep it held down. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. Oops. Whoa. Whoa! Your scene contains a sky dome mesh with a sky material, but it does not cover that part of the screen. I may have zoomed out a little far. That's funny. Cool. Okay.
our mouse, it gives us a little bit more interactive control over where our directional light will be.
Yeah, that Control L seems interesting, but I don't fully grasp it yet, so we'll come back to that another time.
The skylight, when we click on it, this controls our ambience or our bounce lighting. It's the lighting in the shadows. It's the overall general lighting, and it complements our directional light. Let me adjust the light color to something a little more like green or blue. I like blue. You notice now our floor is white, and the items directly in the path of our sun are white. But the shadows, or the items that are shadowed, now have this blue color.
Oh, interesting.
And that's what our skylight gives us, that little shadow color or ambient light. It's a great way to get a little bit of a mood where your directional light can affect everything else directly.
Okay,
There
interesting.
are other additional lights. If we go up to our Create menu and go to Lights, we have other options such as Point Light, Spotlight, and Rect Light. Point lights are just a little light that emits from a point in space. We can see here.
Same as Unity.
Spotlights give us the ability to
Same as
put
Unity.
a light in a direction that comes out in a cone. And rect lights give us the ability to make a light that comes out in a rectangle shape. This is great for example mimicking like a TV screen or something that has a flat lit surface. Now let's go ahead and look at that auto exposure.
I don't think rec lights are in Unity.
We can go up to our project settings, and we can look for auto exposure. And we have the ability to disable it on a project level, so that way our light will be fixed. Or we can add what's known as a post-process volume. Under Create, Volumes, we can find the post-process volume and drag it in. We can look for auto exposure inside of here. Under auto exposure, we can go to the metering volumes. We can find the post-process.
There you are.
Volume and drag it in. We can look for auto exposure inside of here. Under auto exposure, we can go to the metering mode and we'll change this to manual. And if we were to go up
Under auto exposure. Oh, I'm not following this one. Tutorial takes takes care of lighting before blueprints. X lurks. I don't. Welcome to the Unreal team. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way. But help me with your name. Also, welcome. How you doing? XL. All right, XL. I can. You can search these windows too just by typing what you want. Yeah, I was working on that. Auto exposure. What were they having me set though? I got it shown to you. Good. How are you? I am a little brain frazzled just because of the day and but yeah, this has been a journey. Definitely taking me a lot longer than the hour. But I keep getting distracted. I'm going all over the place. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Um, I don't know if you want to add post-process volumes. Oh, right. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. That one's definitely going to take me some getting used to remember that in the create thing. This is what you're referring to. It's like, oh, I was trying to find post. I just find it there. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah, I need to remember that feature. Because I will end up forgetting. Eventually, it'll become habit to remember it. But it's normal. Took you 2 to 3 hours for that one too. If I wasn't live and I was just doing it on my own, I could probably crunch it out pretty quick. But um, I am enjoying the interaction feedback. It's muchly appreciated. Uh, so I'm having a lot of fun with it. Will save you a lot of time, right? Yes. It's just have to get used to. It's just one of those things you have to get used to. Okay,
Under
what did I
create
miss?
volumes,
Yeah, I did that.
under auto exposure,
Okay, they said auto exposure. Searching for auto exposure.
we can go to the metering mode and we'll
Oh, metering mode. Okay.
change this to manual. And if we were to go up to our lit mode and change it back to game settings, we're not really
Whoa.
going to see.
XL, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. I still don't know why it's doing the double notifications, but it's interesting those ones happened right back to back. Sometimes they are spaced out more.
Any change. And if
What
we
did
were
you
to go
say?
up to our lit mode and change it back to game settings, we're not really going to see any change.
Black Ant, thank you for the follow as well. Muchly appreciated. Yay.
If we were to go up to our lit mode and change it back to game settings, we're not really going to see any change. Our
I saw some change.
post-process volume is a volume. It's a block, it's a cube, and it only affects the things inside of it. We'd have to go ahead and uncheck auto exposure for our search, scroll down, and we're looking for infinite extent unbound. And when we check this, it's now going to go ahead and affect the entire level.
Whoa!
We now find our exposure compensation, and this is where we can adjust this to set it to a fixed level. Maybe we want something like 8.
Exposure compensation.
We can adjust this to set it to a fixed level. We can now find our exposure compensation, and this is where we can adjust this to set it to a fixed level. Maybe we want something like 8.
Oh.
And now we have a fixed value no matter what's going to happen with our lights. We can go back, of course, to like our directional light. We can change its intensity up and down. And our auto exposure is not going to brighten up things that are too dark or darken up things that are too bright.
Ish.
You've now got a fixed auto exposure level. And now you can set your lighting to be too bright. Not going to brighten up.
So even when I was working with Unity, I did not do a whole lot of lighting stuff. So it's kind of not my area. You can get some really awesome looks with just a few settings with your post-process volume. I imagine, yeah. This is an area that I definitely could use a lot more experience with. I am much more solid as a back-end developer. Front-end stuff, I am improving. I could use a lot more improvement, but I'm good to check your page first. I want to see more about Unreal. Still setting up your Twitch stream settings. Oh, I can try to see. I will be gaming later, so I'm going to be pretty distracted. I can get pretty immersed, especially in survival games. But yeah, once I'm done with this tutorial, I'll be wrapping up my Unreal expedition for today and going into the jungle and surviving. Um, but again, really only very important if you want to do cinematics, though. Gotcha, gotcha. Um, let me pull your page up here really quick, though. That. There you go. Okay, I pulled it up. Where was I? Yeah, my brain is going. my brain. Yeah, so this whole like what they said.
We can change its intensity up and down, and our auto exposure is not going to brighten up things that are too dark or darken up things that are too bright.
So I feel like I'm not quite getting that same result they are, but because it, well, I guess it. Yeah, I don't know. But we'll see.
We've now got a fixed auto exposure level, and now you can set your lighting to be the exact way you want, and you don't have to worry about it changing. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a little bit more of a fun little effect by giving ourselves a God ray, or it looks like light shafts coming into our level. But we're going to need something for it to come through. Let's click on one of our walls in our level. We're going to look for window in our content browser. And we can find we have a modular window. Now I can drag this window in, and I can delete the old one, or we can replace. With the wall selected inside of our viewport and our outliner, and the window selected in our content browser, we can right-click on the wall. We can choose Replace Selected Actors With, and then it's going to show us the one we have selected.
Oh, that's cool.
We click on that, and we now have a window
That's
where we
cool.
once had a wall. Let's go ahead and adjust our light.
I like that. That is an awesome feature. Very nice. I don't know how often I would use it, but just the fact that it's there may end up being more used. But that replace thing, I like that. I like
So
that
we'll
a lot.
find our directional light, and I'm going to rotate it so that way it is a light shaft coming through. Well, we have a nice long shadow coming in from our light. On our directional light, let's look for light shaft.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay, so what were they saying on the directional light? Shaft. Giggity. Real-time lighting is so sweet. Yeah, right? Um, one of the things that Unity was lacking when I first started, I think it's fine now. But the notion like your lights would go through objects. Uh, in order for the light to not go through your objects, you'd have to do much harder baking and stuff like that. And just the notion of this sort of thing being very easy, which so Unity could do now. I don't know if you need Pro for that. I know at a point in time you had to have the upgraded version. Free did not support it. You did not get this type of lighting unless you had the upgraded pay for it version. But yeah. With Unreal, you don't have to bake lighting whatsoever, at least not with Lumen. Nice. Yeah, I like that. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with. I mean, I know lights at a basic level, but yeah, I never dealt a whole lot with like baking and stuff like that. It was just kind of not.
And we have a few options. We have light shaft occlusion, and we
Yeah.
have light shaft bloom. Let's turn on light shaft bloom. Let's go ahead and move our character down, and now we can see we have this really cool bloom effect. we can see we enable and disable it,
I do.
and we get a nice little God ray effect. And our character can run
Right.
through a
What am I
level
missing?
and disable it, and we get a nice little God ray effect. And our character can run through a level, and they have this fun little effect that adds a lot of atmosphere just by.
Okay. Why am I not seeing it? Did I do something wrong? Or maybe it's... Wait, hold on. Let me try lowering that light a little bit more. That might be a little too much. Maybe my intensity is too low. Lighting too weak. Yeah, I was just wondering that. I don't know what their... I don't remember what their lumen was set to. Or lux. Whatever. Not lumen. Lux. Hmm. What was that setting? No. Shh. Yeah, I should remember that. Hmm. Interesting. Oh, there it is. Okay. Crud. What was the key command? I think it's in my notes. Shift F1. I made notes. That, and then that lets me to go into here. Ah, yeah, there we go. Control Alt L? What is Control Alt L? What does that do? I was looking to eject, or I guess I didn't need to eject because I was able to just use Shift F1 was what I was looking for. What is Control Alt L? Control Alt L. Oh, you just straight up eject with F8? Oh, does it straight up toggle? Okay, cool. Oh, cool. I didn't know that one. They didn't cover that one. It's the sun hold and move. Oh, I thought that was just Control L. This thing? That's just Control L, not Control Alt. Okay. Um, F8 though, that's useful. Um, XL, yeah, no problem. I literally it was just earlier in the video, so that's why I remembered it. Had you asked me like tomorrow, I'd be like, sure, Control Alt L. That sounds right. I would have forgotten. But the Shift F1 was what I was looking for at the exact moment, so that I could go in and toggle that settings. It's like, okay, I can see that haze effect now that they're talking about. I gotta get the camera like just right there, but I wanted to toggle it on and off. It's like, okay, Shift F1, go up to our light, and toggle this on, and now we can actually see that. Oh Jesus! Wait. Oh. Ooh, interesting to know. I wonder if that. Okay. What if I do F8? Huh. Okay. Undo and redo doesn't work when you're in play mode, which is not surprising, but um, I have no idea what the original value was. Uh, does it remember the value or does it reset? Would have to go stop that. Okay, so it reset it back to 2. 0.2. Okay, interesting. Interesting.
changing a few properties. And this is some effect that adds a lot of atmosphere just by changing a few properties.
Yeah, that
And
does add
this
a
is
lot of
something
atmosphere.
important to note. There are hundreds of settings and properties available to you on the included items inside the editor.
Yeah, no kidding. Very overwhelming.
You might be thinking, oh, I need to create something by scratch. I want this really cool effect. How do I do it? When it might already be available to you. And that's why I'd recommend you look at the documentation for specific features you might want to try to use rather than recreating them by hand. Now, the last thing of note when working with lighting is the lighting mobility types. I'm going to go back to my directional light. Let's clear out my search. And at the top, we have mobility.
Okay, what are we on? Directional light? Oh, mobility.
We have static, stationary, and movable. Static lighting is lighting that can't be changed in the game.
Oh,
It is fixed,
got it.
It's baked out using the light mask baker, and it will never change. But the advantage of it is basically 0% performance hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's free performance for your lights.
Performance
We have
options.
stationary. We have the ability for shadows to be changed, but the lighting itself can't change. So keep that in mind. And the performance is between static and movable. And the last one is movable. The colors can be changed dynamically. The shadows can be changed dynamically. Everything is dynamic. You're also going to need movable if you want to use lumen, because lumen requires movable for global illumination purposes. So keep these in mind, and depending on your project, for example, a mobile device might want to use static lighting, while a high-end PC may want to use movable. With this, you can see how powerful of a tool lighting can be to control the look and feel of your scene.
Yeah.
If you changed any of your lights to stationary or static, remember to build your lighting or put them back to movable for the rest of this course.
Remember to build your lighting. But they don't go over that. I will deal with that at a later point. Well, that's lighting. You know what's next. Moment I think I've certainly been waiting for.
When we look around our test map, we can see quite a bit of content, including a button that we can see right here. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's cool, but I want 3 buttons. Now I need to make this button 3 different times and set it up 3 different times.
Wrong!
No. With blueprints, you can skip the repetitive part of design and get right to the fun. Let's go ahead and click on the button, and on the right, we have the edit to click.
Click the button. Click the button!
To edit the blueprint, and we'll open up our blueprint graph. Have the edit to click to edit the blueprint.
Dun dun dun.
And we'll open up our blueprint graph. We're not covering blueprints in detail. We have other courses and documentation on that. We're going to take a quick look at what blueprints are going to give to us and make available to us. In the middle here by default, we have our event graph. This is where our code or our blueprint nodes are going to show up. We also have our viewport, which is our visual representation of the items inside.
Viewport. Oh, viewport. Okay. Interesting.
Of our blueprint. And that's the basics of it. It's a collection of things that are known as components.
Oh, wait. Construction script. Timeline template event graph. Okay.
And then code that may interact with that component. It doesn't have to. You can have things automated. You don't need the blueprint scripting code inside of here. A lot of things can be automated using just components. When we create a blueprint in our project, it's one asset, but we can duplicate it as many times as we want in our level. Each one of those is unique, and they become what is known as an instance of that blueprint. This means all of the code and each of the components on those blueprints are considered unique to that instance, and any changes we make to that instance only apply to that one. Blueprints are not the only
Effectively, just instances in Unity. That's no different. The only thing I haven't quite pieced together is what prefabs equate to. I think that's just what the blueprint kind of is when it's sitting in the content drawer.
Thing in the engine that can have instances. For example, apply to that one. Blueprints are not the only thing in the engine that can have instances. For example, we can have a material instance that allows us to easily create unique materials. Let's take a look at how we can use blueprints and materials together. Now, I mentioned we might need to duplicate this multiple times.
Blueprints or prefabs? That's kind of what I was suspecting. Yeah. Components, monoscripts. So if you dig a little deeper, they actually are called components in Unity as well. It's just higher up. And mono behavior is a subclass of component. But yeah. We reached blueprints! Finally, yeah. um, the thing that's throwing me off a bit is that I thought blueprints I thought that, like, quote unquote Unreal Blueprint was that blueprints was the scripting thing. Like, that was the visual scripting. But it seems like blueprint, like what XL you just said, that blueprints are prefabs. So blueprint is more than just the visual scripting and more than just that. It's a part. Yeah, it's a part of. It's a part of it. Excuse me. So what is the correct term for, like, what this is? Like, the visual scripting part of Unreal, because apparently I misunderstood that. Like, I thought that's what blueprints were. It's like, well, yes, this is a blueprint, but a blueprint is more than this, I think. Abu Bra 412. Yeah. Always welcome to ask a question. I may not have the answer, but I can certainly try. What's the question? Excel, that is the blueprint. Yeah. But isn't the blueprint more? Blueprint is a class. Okay. But the blueprint was also like this whole button and everything that's here. Like, wouldn't that also be like, if a blueprint is also the equivalent of a prefab, that would also include like the mesh and everything else. If it's part of the prefab. Excel, so Unreal, there are 12 ways to make a prefab using blueprints or C++. Oh, okay. Interesting. Abu, you're creating an online game in Unity and using polling to communicate with the endpoints, the APIs. Is this the right approach for an online game? Polling can get very expensive. If you can manage to do event-driven or even pushing, that's probably going to be more efficient. Polling may work, but it tends to be very, very expensive, like I said. If you haven't looked into it, I would recommend looking into network objects, or even what was that? What is that thing? Starts with a P. There's a common networking. My brain's just not remembering right. Crap, what is that? What is that common thing called? So I'm mostly familiar with Unity's network objects, which works great. That's what I used with Whimsel. Why can't I remember the what name? There's a third party service. It starts with a P. and my brain is just not remembering it. But it's really common. A lot of people use it, especially with Unity. Um, and I can't even find. Why can't I remember the photon? Photon. Jesus Christ. Photon is another really popular one. Netcode for game objects or network objects is what I was referring to. Definitely would recommend looking into those. Kind of like WebSockets, right? If you're doing browser based, netcode for objects, network objects does support WebSockets. I had cross-platform with desktop and web browser using network objects. It just requires a little finagling. There's a couple settings you have to set before like WebSockets get those working right. But yeah, that's I'd recommend looking into that. Let me catch up on some other messages here. I'm sorry. In two ways, Virginia, you have the viewport. You can see your static mesh on top left. You can add different components to it. If you make a prefab using blueprints, you can attach components to it, kind of like with C++. Virginia. Blueprints is just a visual wrapper. Yeah. So I think a lot of this is just going to be a terminology thing. Like I get the individual concepts, just a matter of like, okay, what components are called what. And I would, yeah, no problem. I wish I could be more help. I don't have those resources in front of me at the moment, but yeah, I would highly recommend looking into those. One of those two things, network objects, netcode, or photon. And you're always welcome to hit me up on Discord or something like that. When I'm off stream, and I might be able to give some more resources. But it has been a little bit. But I used netcode when I wrote Whimsel. Where was I? Blueprints. Blueprints. Yes.
Use blueprints and materials together. Now, I mentioned we might need to duplicate this multiple times if we want 3 different buttons. Let's actually look at how we could easily reuse this. I'm going to drag my button out of my content browser.
Okay, wait, so we're going back to here. Here I should be able to browse to asset, drag it out of your content browser, okay. Shoot it there.
Use my Alt key, and I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. Now, looking at each one of these, they're comprised of different components. We can see we have a frame stack mesh, we have a button, and then we have collision. And our button is made up of a stack mesh and a material. If we open up this material by double-clicking on it, it will look different.
Wait, which material? Okay, hold on.
If we open up this material by double-clicking on it, it will look different than what an actual material looks like, because this is a material instance. If we were to scroll down and we look at parent and double-click on it, this is our actual material. We can go in a little bit farther and we can click on it, instance. If we were to scroll down and we look at parent and double-click on it, this is our actual material. We can go in a little bit farther and we can see all the complicated math that comes into making this material.
Wait, what?
But what we care about is there is material. Scroll down and we look at parent and double-click on it. This is our actual material. We can go in a little bit farther and we can see all.
What did they click on?
This is our actual material.
Oh, they clicked on this. Oh, okay.
We can go in a little bit farther.
How would I go back? Base. Oh, okay. Did it open a new tab? Is that what that was? Okay, it opened a new tab. So, God, materials refer blueprints and real blueprints. I kind of agree with you on that one. I gotta admit. I'm curious to know I'm curious to know how you would know that this was like double clickable, like that there is more underneath this. Like, how would you know to double click that? That I don't know yet, but
And we can see all the complicated math that comes into making this material.
I have worked. So this is actually, I mean, I don't know a whole lot of Unreal's point, but the visual side of this, um, Unity has a visual tool for working with materials. I've worked with it a little bit. Shader graphs. So I've worked a little bit with shader graphs, which is a very similar type of setup to this to build out materials and stuff. Because it's a material function, you don't. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But what we care about is there is an instance of it.
Unreal materials are so much better. I'm not arguing, but I don't have enough information to agree with you yet.
That has specific settings, such as the color. We can change our color to, let's say, a blue. We'll hit OK. When we go back,
You'll see. I'm sure I will. I gotta admit, I'm pretty blown away. Just like, yeah, I wish I had done this sooner for sure. But, wait, where did they just do that from? In there.
change our color to, let's say, specific settings, such as the color. We can change our color
Oh, okay,
to,
they are in
let's
here.
say, a blue. We'll hit OK. When we go back out, now you'll see all to, let's say, a blue. We'll hit OK. When we go back out, now you'll see all of our buttons are blue. We didn't have to change any code or get into the dirty, messy parts of the material to make it blue. Now, if we find this material instance glow, we can click Browse to MI Glow in Content Browser.
Where was that? Browse. Glow? Browse to ML Glow in
Underneath the
Content
material,
Browser.
we can find where it's at. You notice it has a
Oh,
little
okay.
star next to it. That means that we have a change. It hasn't been saved. I'm going to go ahead and open up a material instance glow. I'm going to make this white again because I want my default to be white for my glow and save it. I can right click and I can duplicate this one.
Bun has arrived. I'm about to be distracted.
I can right click and I can duplicate default to be white for my glow and save it. I can right click and I can duplicate this one.
What are they duplicating? I can't quite see. It's too small.
And save it. I can right click and I can duplicate.
Okay. I feel like this isn't really teaching me a whole lot about like actual blueprinting. But where were we?
White for my glow and save it. I can right click and I can duplicate this one.
You're in my way.
I'll duplicate it twice. We're going to change this to glow blue, and we'll change it to glow red. Now if we go into the glow blue by double clicking on it and changing its glow to a blue color, and then we do the same thing with glow red, and we change its glow to a red color. We'll go back inside of our playground, and we have a glow blue, and a glow red. And each of our buttons can have their own setup. On the button, under glow, we'll make this one red.
Hold on. AFK a second again. Yeah, well, then you don't get them. Okay. Black hand, I mean, this is basic that you will need a lot in Unreal, but still, yeah.
And
I am eager to actually get to the logic building of blueprints. I don't think that's gonna happen today, but yeah, this is interesting.
for the next button, on the button itself, under glow, we'll make this one blue. And now we have
Wait,
the
what
next
did they
button
just do?
on the glow
Oh,
blue
I
and the
see.
glow
Okay.
red. And each
Excel, have you seen the onboarding guide for Unreal? Onboarding guide. Hold on, let me check. Can you link it to see if it's one that I've gotten? I've done begin play. Begin play was awesome. That was really useful. I've done Unreal guided tour. I've done tips for learning Unreal Engine from the Epic Online Learning team, and Unreal Engine Editor Fundamentals Overview, which is also really good. These are all. I think they're either all staff or all official things. I don't see Unreal Engine Essentials. Hold on, let me find that. Oh, yeah, this was all documentation. Yeah. Um, so I did come across this. Yes, this is very useful. Um, and I will probably reference it. No, it's not. Check the links. What am I missing? Programming and scripting. Sure, we'll start there. Begin play blueprints. I saw this. Oh, they take you to courses. Oh, blueprint communication. Begin play blueprints. So I've watched this one. Create efficient blueprints by dividing organization. To examine components of blueprints, how they modify them, such a need. To explore hierarchy of objects, level. Oh. Okay. Maybe we'll run this one tomorrow then. Oh, wait. I don't know if I'm doing this tomorrow. Uh, Next time that I run this, maybe this I'm gonna save this one because I'm particularly curious about the blueprint side of things. But oh wait, no, I already know what one I'm doing. I'm gonna be running. What was the other one I was running next? I was gonna try the Stackobot thing next. It seemed like a good next thing. I think maybe I don't know. I haven't really looked at it, but it seemed like it was a next tutorial sort of thing. Um, so but I'm definitely going to save that this. I didn't realize this took you to other courses. I thought it was all just documentation. Because I dug into one of them and it just took me to the documentation. And I didn't go further. Because I definitely am better with videos or interaction even more so. Like I'm following along doing something is what I'm going to learn. If I'm just sitting and reading pages and pages, I'm going to gloss. It's my eyes are going to glaze over and I'm just going to be I'm not going to be able to do it. It's just not how I learn. Everybody learns differently. I'm not the book sort. So yeah, this is good. I'm definitely keeping this one for later. So thank you for uh, having me double check that and realize that I was wrong. Muchly appreciated. Where was I? No, that's not what I was doing. Uh, where was I?
brown, and we have a glow blue, and a
Yep.
glow red.
Okay.
And each of our buttons can have their own setup. On the button under glow, we'll make this one red. And for the next button, on the button itself, under glow.
Okay. Button. Button. Red. Button. Button. Blue.
We'll make this one blue. And now we have 3 different buttons in our world with 3 different colors, but they're all using the same blueprint, so all the code and logic applies to them. They just visually look different by using different instances. And we could easily add more colors just by duplicating our original instance and changing it to a different color that we like. Now, if we
So this is functionality-wise, this is not much different than Unity. It's just the way you the result-wise, it's not much different than Unity. It's just the way you
open up
approach it.
our
Slightly
push
different.
button blueprint and we go into our event graph,
Push button blueprint. Okay.
this is our code. And we're going to look at the code at a high level. Code will start somewhere. In this case, we have an event called begin play, and it will go to the right based on our white wires. Our white execute wires say keep going this way, do the next thing, and continue on. In this case, we're simply storing where the button's location is into a variable called starting location. That way, when we animate it, we always know where it goes back to.
Okay, interesting. That can. Oh, these are baby materials. You can make so many really awesome things with them. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Yep. Yeah. When it comes to anything that's more on the visual side, I have a lot of learning to do. Lighting, materials, stuff like that is definitely my weak point. Yeah, I'm very much a back-end developer. One of us, one. Gooba gabba, gooba gabba. Also more of a coder, yeah. Back-end, yep, yeah. I have more than a decade of enterprise development between various languages, predominantly Java, PHP, but and Unity, C Sharp. But yeah, most of my stuff's back end.
Down here, we have something called an overlap. So when we walk over a button,
Overlap. Wait, what?
down here, we have something called an overlap.
Oh, on component begin overlap. Oh, collision event called when something starts to overlap this component. For example, player walking into a trigger. Okay, collision.
So when we walk over a button, we play a timeline, and that's going to go ahead and make our button move up and down.
This time it simply returns. What does that say? Time paused. Finally, blueprints. Oh my god. I'm sorry. And I'll probably be ending my adventure shortly after the blueprinting too. I don't feel bad, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this for much longer. I'm gonna be going and diving into the jungle survival in a little bit, but I want to get through this.
By setting the location over time. That's why when we look at our buttons, we'll be
Okay. Yeah, all of this is gonna be this is gonna take a lot of getting used to. It's like, and just learning what all the different things are is like, okay, I understand that this is a collision. After something stops. I don't understand timeline yet. I mean, I know what a timeline is, but I don't understand this. What would this be called? I don't want to call it a component because component has another thing. Node? Whatever this node is. This time it simply returns a float whose value changes from 0 to 1 over 1 second. Uses control. Play, reverse, lerp. Okay, so you're just show new time update. Node. Cool. Node works. Think of it like a function too in some ways. Yeah, does this have a... Oh! It literally is a time... Oh, okay. Cool. Now this makes total sense. I just need to double click the bloody thing. How do I go back? Oh, that's the. Oh, that's at the timeline template that picked up from there this time. Show. Oh, okay, I see. Times basic timer takes lots of times every ticket update gets. I'm assuming that this would equate to the ticks somehow, like value over what 1 second. What would this be? Lerp 0 to 1 time. Yeah, so time 1 second, right? Okay, yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get it. You can add a value and a time. Yep. Kind of like, yeah, just standard. Yeah, I get that. Start -1 plus 1. Yeah, yeah. I've worked with these before. This is similar to Unity and the Blender has stuff like that. It's just, it's a curve. It's a curve. Location variable says where the button mesh starts and ends. We get start location when the game launches, and it won't change. Ending offset is how far we want the button to move down. So in this case, 10 units the axis. Start location, ending offset. Interesting. Yeah, it's like all of this type of stuff. I'm gonna have to get more familiar with this. I'm guessing this dot here, I'm guessing that is purely organizational. It's allowing this curve to come down here and then straight and then over. I'm guessing that is purely an organizational dot. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
Play, and we walk over.
Oh yeah, let's play. Let's see what happens. Did it actually do anything? Nope. Yes, it does. There's some artifacting there. It's called reroute nodes just for organization. That's what I thought. If you double click a line, you can add a node. Oh, okay, got it. Cool, good to know. Yeah. How would I say I didn't want it there anymore? It's like, okay, cool, I added that, but now I don't want that anymore because I would imagine if I just delete it, wouldn't that, oh, I can't even do that. Yeah, deleting it deletes the whole line. I don't want that. I just want to delete that reroute node. Straight connection? No. Break this link? No, that's not going to work. Oh. Oh, that's cool. What is that? Oh, comment bubble.
Over them, we'll notice the button goes down or the button goes back up.
Don't know if that's possible. Noted.
And that is based on our two different events inside of our blueprint. When we walk over it or when we end collision. Before I mentioned there was another way where you can use blueprints without code but still have the components do things. If we were to look at our platform here and we open it up, you'll notice there's no code. But when we play, our platform goes up and down.
Animation?
That is because the component on here, called interp to movement or interpolate movement, is set up to move our platform up and down based on settings inside of the component. And any changes we make to that instance to change the look of one of the components on our blueprint instances only apply to that one. So that's another strength of blueprint we make to that instance from up and down based on interpolate movement.
The
As
heck are they
the
talking
component
about?
on here called interp to movement.
Interp to movement. Move the root component between a series of points over a given time. Okay. So, interp to movement. Just a question. It's probably a blueprint. There's probably some logic written in there. Probably links to something else that actually is doing some logic somewhere. Like, yeah, there's no code here. We're just calling a function. It's a component responsible for moving an object. Yeah. I did not mean to do that. Right click edit. Component. Right click edit. Where am I right clicking edit? Most likely C++. And sure. I don't know if it's exposed to blueprint. Yeah. Anyway, just the notion of like, yeah, there's still code involved. I was thinking that they were going to say it was animated, just like with an animation curve or something like that. But anyway.
Or interpolate movement is set up to move our platform.
Behavior, positive impact, sweep, show. Variable name. Oh, okay, so that's coming from here. This is the details of the interp movement. Okay. Oh, I see. This is definitely going to take some time to get used to as well. Because like in Unity, I'm used to you click an object, a game object in your scene, and you get a list of all of your behaviors, and all of the details for all of your behaviors in one spot. So this is different. That's something to just get used to. I don't know if it's exposed. Might be one of the classes that can't be changed. You could also look for it in the source code if you have it set up to include sources. I don't think I do with this one, but yeah, it's fine. I don't need to go digging into that at the moment. It's just was an observation.
Up and down based on settings inside of the component. And any changes we make to that instance to change the look of one of the components on our blueprint instances only apply to that one. So that's another strength of blueprints. We have the ability to add functionality to our project in a visual way, and a lot of the time without actually getting into code. It's more of just setting some things.
Okay. That's about what I expected. I was hoping it would dig a little bit deeper into blueprints, but I understand. Packaging for sharing. I don't.
After learning the basics of the editor and the features available to us, we're going to go ahead and take a look at packaging the project into a version.
Blackhand, you have one blueprint. If you place that in the world, you get an instant of it. You can change the instance without changing the blueprint. Yeah, that's my brain can't think of the equivalent to Unity, but yeah, that concept is not foreign to me. That makes perfect sense. Unity has very similar thing. It's very similar to prefabs and instances. So yeah, the only thing that I wouldn't say the only thing, one of the things, is Unity does have the ability where if you let me go back in. So as an example, we had our default button option here. So like this blueprint with the button. If for whatever reason it's like, okay, this red, I I want the default uh the default blueprint. So hold on. Where was it? Go browse to asset. This. So this BP push button. This. If all of a sudden it's like whatever the settings are on this red button, it's like, you know what? This I want the default. I now want to apply all of these settings to be the default here. Like that's what I want. There's a way to easily do that in Unity. It's a push of a button. It's like apply to prefab or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. So I don't know how you would do that in this case. Process it, edit, BP button, copy, place actor. It's like, obviously I know I could just go in here and make the changes to this blueprint, and sure, then that would take them. But if I made a bunch of changes here and I wanted to apply those changes to this, that I don't. There it is, right there. Apply instance changes to blueprint. Done. That's it. That's what I was describing. That's got to be it. So, cool.
We can play test or even share with others so they can play our project. Let's get right into packaging our project. If we go up to platforms, we're currently on Windows. We can go to Windows, Package Project. Now, if we attempt to do this, we're going to run into an error.
Wait, what? Why do I not have? I can. What is this series? Packaging before blueprints? There is no blueprints. That's all the blueprints. There's nothing else in it. They aren't going any deeper into blueprints. It's literally packaging for sharing and then conclusion. That's it. Next time that I'd go into this, though, I'm going to work on this one, I think. Because we did first hour. Oh, maybe I do this. Your first game in Unreal? Maybe I do that one. What is this? Yeah, maybe I'll do this one. But that's not going to be tonight. I don't think that I'll be doing this tomorrow. I do know Thursdays I have board games, like, real life board games. So I very rarely do anything Thursday nights, and sometimes I don't do anything Thursday days, but I'll probably be gaming instead of doing this. And then Friday is up in the air, Saturday is up in the air. So I may do more Unreal stuff, but I might also just be gaming. Sunday, I will absolutely be back into this on Sunday. It's just a matter of will I be doing this again before Sunday. But definitely going to be doing Unreal Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Are going to be the definite days. Again, mostly blueprints, mainly because you're sick and tired of perma-compiling everything and working on a potato. I'm sorry to hear. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Package project. Up to platforms. We're currently on.
To wait 3 more hours until shops open? Oh no. Oof. I'm sorry.
Windows. We can go to Windows, Package Project. Now, if we attempt to do this, we're going to run into an error. This is letting us know that the SDK, or the software development kit for Windows, is not installed properly. And we need that installed in order to package for Windows. Let's hit cancel, go back up to platforms. All of our different platforms will require a SDK, as well as it might require a set of platform software installed for the engine. If we go down to Windows, we can see at the bottom that we don't have anything installed for Windows, or Android, we have nothing installed for Android. Because I'm on a Windows machine, my Windows platform is already installed. If I want to build for Android, it's going to tell me the binaries for this target platform are not installed. Would you like to use the launchers to download them? And in order to install them, you'd go back to your launcher, choose the drop-down button next to the version you want, and go to Options. And if we scroll down, we can see all the platforms available to us. If I wanted to target Android, I'd have to install the platform software for it. In this case, we're going to just test for Windows. Going back to platforms, Windows, we can see we need to install a version of the SDK between 10.0 and 10.9. So you're going to need to make sure you install the latest Windows SDK to continue on and package for Windows. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and we'll be right back. Now we can go back to platforms.
Simply as a matter of brevity, I am just going to watch this video. I don't think there's any particular benefit to me actually following along on this one. So I'm not going to sit and wait on the digging through and installing all the stuff. I'm just going to... We'll finish this off.
And refresh our platform status to
kind of wrap up with this.
Update. And when we go back to Windows and package, it's no longer going to give us the error message. Now we need to choose where we want to package this project. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my desktop in a folder called Test Build and select the folder and let it package. It's going to start packaging your project. It may take a little bit of time. If you want, you can click Show Output Log. The output log will show up and tell you what it's doing. You can also dock this so that way it's next to, for example, your content browser and you can keep track of it. Depending on the size of your project, this may take a little bit of time. And here we can see packaging is completed. And now that the packaging is complete, inside of our test build folder, we have a Windows folder because, well, I built to Windows. Inside of here, we have the executable file for my first hour, the name of our project, and then any of the required files to go along with it. If we double click the executable file, it'll go ahead and start up our first hour project. And here we can see we have our first hour project, but it may not be quite what you expected. It's going to load up the default map for our game set in our game mode. So we're going to have to remember to fix that. Also, the escape key doesn't allow us to quit out because that was only in the play and editor feature. Since we built out for development mode, which is our default, we do still have access to the console though. You can push the tilde key on your keyboard and type in quit, or if that doesn't work and you're on Windows, you can hold down the Alt key and press F4 and it's going to close out your project. Now let's go ahead and adjust those project settings for our package.
I hate when people answer with that. Answer any question with Alt F4. I hate that so much. It's like, no.
Game. Back inside of our project, let's go up to Edit, Project Settings. Under Maps and Modes, this is where we have our default maps. One for the editor, and then one for the game.
I remember them going over this. Black hand noted. Wait, what's noted? Can I do that? Screw you, both of you.
Make sure you change the game one. I'm going to change it to my map playground because that is for when the game packages out. One thing you might want to be aware of is there's a packaging option. Inside of our packaging window, we have an advanced section. We can see it here. If we scroll down in our advanced section, we can find another one called List of Maps to Include in Package Build. This is important. If you have additional maps, you want to go ahead and make sure you include those maps inside of this list so that way they're packaged out. If you don't do this or you find maps missing in your package project, this is probably why.
Interesting. So I'm not surprised that it's not automatic, because how could it be? This is very similar Unity. You have to add them to your list as well. So that's not uncommon. It is a little more buried than it is in Unity, though. In Unity, it's like right in your right in your face when you go to build. But yeah.
Additionally, while you're in here, if you go down, you'll have a platform section. Depending on the platform, you have options.
Oh yeah, well, they went over this in one of the views too. Like all of these can override stuff.
For example,
too.
In Windows, We have the ability to change the different rendering type it's using.
Mm.
But this is also where you'll change the icon that's used for your game once it's packaged. And now the last thing we want to do is add the ability for our character to quit by pushing one of the keys on our keyboard rather than having to close it out the hard way. If we go into our EOL content folder, characters,
UL content folder character.
bot, we can find the BP_bot. I'll go ahead and double click to open it up, and we'll look at this. Now inside of our blueprint, we can see the way the input is set up. We use an enhanced input system using mapping context and input actions. And this might take a little bit of time to set up. We have another way of doing this. It's a little bit more of a quick and dirty way, but we're just going to test and see if our quit function works, which Blueprint excels at. Find an open space in your blueprint. We can right click on it and we can type Q keyboard. And what this is going to do is search and find the Q keyboard event. We can click on that, and now we have a Q node that when we press it or release it, something will happen.
I imagine this can't be efficient.
Drag off of the pressed and let go, and it's going to now ask us what we want to do. Type in quit. We now have game, quit game. We can move these and organize a little better. And now whenever the Q key is pressed, this wire will execute and call quit game. That's all we need to do to quickly quit out. Compile and save your game. That's all we need to do to quickly quit out. Compile.
Oh. Dirty needs to be recompiled. So simply saving is not going to compile. Interesting. Okay. Good to know.
And save your blueprint. Let's go back in and we'll package this one more time for Windows. We'll put it in the same location as before and let it package out. Now that our project has finished packaging, we can go and run the new executable. This time we should end up in the proper map. We can run around like we expect, and when we push the Q key on the keyboard, it's going to quit out. Okay, all that works great. Now if we wanted, we could share this with someone else. All of these files here are executable, and our folders are required to share with someone else. If you're on Windows, you could select those files, right-click, send to a compressed folder, and then you could send this compressed folder to your friend or someone else, and they can play your game. In addition, while we were playing originally, we had the ability to open up our development console to quit out. When we're packaging, you have the option to package as a different type. Our default settings is development. We have the shipping option available to us, and this will do things such as optimize it more for shipping purposes, remove our developer console, and remove any of our test debug nodes for
that part I
shipping
want to see what this
purposes,
is.
remove our developer console, and remove any of our test
right.
debug
Okay. I remember somebody
nodes,
going
such
over
as the
that.
print string. And that right there is the basics of packaging your project and sharing it with other people. Next, we'll wrap up this course and
You can set your compile button so it auto saves after compile. Nice. Awesome that you have to know before you even made your first script how to package your project. Yeah, I'm a little question on that one. Merg, Jurgen posted notes. Bye, Jurg.
look at some of the other.
All right, and we just have our little tutorial conclusion.
We've gone through the basics of the engine.
That'll
We've looked
wrap
at the
up.
editor. We've brought in content from various places, created our own level, set up some visual controls such as adjusting our lights, and we touched on the basics of blueprints. We even packaged our project to share with others.
Very basics of
At
blueprints.
this point, I would suggest continuing doing what we've been doing by experimenting with the project you have open now. Redesign the level using the assets given to you. Give your player a place to run around or even through. Add more props or obstacles to get into their way and interact with them. Change the lighting. Give it a more wacky feeling. This project is now your playground, so start playing with it and have fun. Once you're ready to move on, I'd recommend going to the samples section on the launcher. Here you can find new and old content that you can look at to get a feeling of other features available to you in the engine. In particular, though, I would go to the content example sample. This is a great resource full of sample maps covering the majority of the features available to you inside of the engine.
Ooh, that's
It's
pretty.
a great way to
What
learn
was
things such as landscape or even inside of the engine, covering the majority of the features available to you.
that? That's cool. derpy.
inside of the engine. It's a great way to learn things such as landscape or even math. After this, I would recommend going to the EDC, or the Epic Developer Community site. This is where you can find forums as well as learning material from our library. Interact with other community members in the forums. Go ahead and go to the learning section, and you can look at the library, where we can find Epic Games content as well as community content. For example, if you're looking at what to do next, you can go ahead and go through and look at all the other topics available to you. Next, I'd recommend going to the documentation page. This is a great place to not only get started, but find more information on what is available to you inside the engine. As you can see here, there's other great places to work on understanding the basics, working with content, or even specific things such as programming and scripting, or animating characters and objects. Additionally, you will find other courses linked below from the Epic Online Learning team. Unreal Engine is a tool that you can use to build anything you can think of, with enough practice and learning. And while it will take some time and effort, there's plenty of learning resources available, and you will soon be able to bring your creativity to life.
Neat. Cool. It definitely took me a lot longer to go through that first hour of Unreal. But no, that was fun. I am with you, Black Hat. I wish that it had delved a little deeper into blueprints. I'm really curious to learn more about them, but that will come with time. I'm not worried. It's a good overview. So thanks everyone for hanging out. As always, be well, be safe, be yourself, be kind, be all the good things, and have a great rest of your day.